looks guilty to me. All right, all right. Pay attention. You guys, I need you guys to help me out here. Get his name down. If you guys hear his name, let me know.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning, Joy Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Richard Gilbar, 298832. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Richard Gilbar, number 298832. He is serving a sentence of 2 years and 6 months, followed by 3 years of probation for criminal violation of protective order, illegal operation of motor vehicle under suspension, illegal possession of weapon in a motor vehicle, and illegal operation of motor vehicle under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Damn it.
As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of January 26, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender completed Tier 2 invoices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Gilbar, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Yes, ma'am. You actually have a mistake there. I'm in the Tier 4 program, and I also completed the domestic violence program. I have the certificates here to prove that.
Okay, thank you.
Tier 4 has an ET of June 26th.
Yep, I have that too. Okay, sir, thank you very much. We have that information. Did you want to make an opening statement?
Yes, sir. I struggle with drugs and alcohol most of my life. I am currently dealing with that in Tier 4 program. It's teaching me a lot about myself, not about just my actions, but about my thoughts that lead to my actions, sir. I'm a little bit older now. I was able to stay out of trouble for about 10 years. I understand that it's the little things that add up that that add up to bigger actions in my life. In Tier 4 and this incarceration, I'm trying to address those little things. It's not just my actions, it's my thoughts that I have to control and constantly be aware of. I ask you guys, please grant me parole. I have a 14-year-old son that is without his mother right now. He lost his father to incarceration. That is when I veered off the path, and I know I just want to be there to be a father to him, and I cannot do that if I am using any kind of substances or if I am in trouble with the law, sir. Again, like I said, I'm definitely trying to help myself. I'm in smart recovery. I'm doing all the programs, surpassing the programs. And yes, I just would really like to be in consideration, sir. This is my first parole bid. It's going to be my last. This one really, really hurt.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much for your opening statement. So what's going to happen next is that we're all going to take turns asking you questions.
Okay.
And then when we're done asking the questions, we'll deliberate and then we'll give you our answer today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the questions are going to start with panel member Chance today.
So, Mr. Gilbar, I certainly appreciate your opening comments, but I would like to follow up on some of them. So, you said that you've struggled with drugs and alcohol most of your life.
Yes.
What was most of your life? You're 40 years old now. So what's most of your life?
In my teens, I grew up in a abusive and alcoholic family. I turned to drugs and alcohol to self-medicate myself early. I was using marijuana and alcohol all through my 20s. teens, 20s. I finally put down alcohol in my 30s after I ended up doing coming to jail. I figured out that me and alcohol do not mix. I don't think I've ever been arrested without being under the influence of alcohol. I haven't drank in a long time. Unfortunately, I got into a work accident and I got swept up into the opioid epidemic. I was seeking treatment for that. Since I've come into incarceration, I was clean before I came in. I was on Suboxone. Since I've been in my incarceration, I no longer take Suboxone. I am not on the methadone clinic. Like I said, I am in tier 4, doing great in tier 4.
Did you say you're now on methadone?
No, I am not on anything at all.
Were you on methadone at one time?
Yes, 2020 I was. But I do not plan to return to active addiction, so I do not need any of that. Obviously, I'm going to follow up with recovery-based therapy, AA, meetings. But
Okay, so before we get there, okay,
yes.
that sounds like you're talking about your relapse prevention plan.
Yes.
So why are you serving time now?
Because I was in a I was in bad relationships. I was making bad choices. I'm being accountable for my choices. I should not be behind the wheel. Like I said, I was in a toxic relationship. Both of us struggled with drugs and alcohol. Since I had,
So you indicated that you've been an addict most of your life.
Yes, ma'am.
You were previously in 2014 in a treatment at Carnes in Torrington.
I think it was 2000. It might have been a little earlier than that. I don't remember exactly when it was, ma'am.
Right,
But yes.
2014.
Yes, okay, yes. Yes, I was.
Okay.
30 days program, yeah.
How long did you stay there and why didn't that treatment work?
I stayed there for 30 days and it did not work because I did not have a good recovery plan afterwards. And like I said before, I wasn't addressing the little things. I got complacent in my recovery. I wasn't working at the time. I felt less than, and I fell back into the
Why
old
weren't
habits.
you working?
I'm a convicted felon. I understand I have a lot of obstacles ahead of me, and I have to work twice as hard as a normal person does to get employment and keep employment. I'm from a small town. I had no license at the time, and I ended up getting a job afterwards, working under the table, ma'am.
Can I ask you why you didn't have a license?
I had a DUI conviction in 2011, I believe it was.
Right.
Yes.
So here's the issue, Mr. Gilbar.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you've been talking about your substance abuse and alcohol problem.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
you keep saying it's due to bad relationship because you didn't have a recovery plan, and you are now trying. You've done Suboxone, you've done methadone, and obviously none of those seem to work. So I'm asking you now, what do you think is going to help you so that you don't come back?
Okay, ma'am. I'm not sure if it shows in your records, but the victim in my case, we have I found her a couple of weeks after I got the charge for breaking the protective order. She was at my house. Later on, I wasn't home. I come home and find her deceased in my house. from an
But
OD.
did you hear my question to you?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am, I'm getting
Gilbar?
to that. I'm getting to that. That scared the crap out of me. That stuff is the devil. I never ever want to touch that again. It brought me to my knees and more. It took everything I love away from me, and I am never going back to that. I'm better than that. I deserve better than that. I know I don't have many more chances. If I go back into active recovery, ma'am, it's very serious for me. I will end up dead or in here for a long, long time. And at my age, that is not a life for me. It's not a life for anybody, ma'am. And I'm a smart individual. I have a job. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to redirect my question.
Okay.
What do you need, or what do you think will help you so that you can stay sober and you can follow a plan that you've come up with?
You
That's
hit it
what
right
I
on
need to know. What is
You hit
it
it
that
right.
you need to be successful?
You hit it right on the head, ma'am. A plan, a definitely structure filled with meetings, filled with stuff that's going, filled with people of like-minded that are trying to get recovery like me. Structure, ma'am. Structure. I do well in structure. When I'm working, I do well.
So describe
Yes.
when you say structure, what does that mean for you?
For
What
me,
does it
that
look
means
like?
That means taking accountability for myself, even when nobody's looking, doing the right thing, ma'am. Filling my days with productive activities, work, school, meetings, not going back around the same places that are using, the same people and places that are using, setting boundaries with family members and other people that do not have my best interest in mind, ma'am.
Are you guys buying what he's selling?
It's just remembering
When you say setting boundaries with family.
with family members and other
Family
people.
being, how is family enabling you in your recovery?
No, I mean family
So
and
what are the
friends.
boundaries that you talk about that you have to set with them?
Yes, I still have some family members that actively use and past friends. That's what I said, family and friends. And I can't be around that stuff. So if they can't oblige to that, then I need to cut them right out of the situation, because I am the most important right now. I need my recovery and myself to be premier.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think he's ready. Just from what I've heard.
What is your understanding of what a protective order means? What does that mean to you?
Yes, ma'am. A protective order means you are not supposed to go around the person at all. And I take accountability for that. I should have called the cops. Me being in trouble with the law hindered that, because she had my son. I didn't want that for her to get in trouble with, even though she was at my house, I should have picked up the phone and called the police. And I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. And I think about that every single day. She has passed now. Like I said, it was a very bad relationship. I contributed to it. There's substance abuse involved in both ways, but it just boils down. I didn't do the right thing, ma'am. I didn't do the right thing, and I pay for it every day, and I apologize.
So, I understand why she's no longer around, because I know she died of an overdose. And I am sorry for that.
It is. Yeah.
Who is taking care of your son now?
Her parents, ma'am. Her parents.
Okay. So, just to remind you, Mr. Gilbar, your son is what, 14 years old?
He's going to be
He's
14.
always been there. He's always needed. So, you can't say you want parole because he needs you. You need to want parole because you've been working on your problems of substance abuse, and you want to make sure that this time you get it right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
You're absolutely right.
Now, is the mother of your son the one you had the domestic problems with?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I know you're taking DV 3 times. I
Yes,
hope it's finally sunk in
Yes.
so that any other relationship that you have, you can't go there.
Yes. I understand that fully.
Now, you're in Tier 4
Yes, ma'am.
and you're scheduled to finish that June 25th.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you have learned in Tier 4 so far.
Okay. First off, taking accountability, like I said before, it's not just in front of people, look at me, I'm doing right, but doing it for yourself because you want to do it and you want to change your character. Because something I learned about myself, ma'am, it is my actions that get me in trouble, but it's the thoughts before the actions, ma'am. Another big thing that I found that I learned in Tier 4 is you don't have to use just because things go wrong. Things go wrong for people every single day, and they don't do that. Life is going to happen on life's terms. It's feelings are going to come and go. It's how you deal with them that really matters. I've been running from, not feeling from my addiction from a long time, not feeling adequate enough, not ashamed, multiple other feelings that I haven't been addressing, ma'am. And they've been helping me pull those to the surface and deal with the underlying problem of why I continue to get some clean time and then mess it up.
Yeah, this is
So-
Connecticut.
You also said that you're in smart recovery. What are you doing in smart recovery?
Same thing. It kind of goes hand in hand, but smart recovery is more, instead of more curriculum like Tier 4, it's more getting off what's on your mind that day, dealing with group issues, basically just a lot of communication skills I'm learning in that program now.
Okay. So, have you considered the 12-step while you're in smart recovery?
Of course, and that also is a
Because
big part of
that's one
Tier
of the
4.
things that a lot of people find helpful that goes hand in with Tier 4. So, are you working on the 12-step?
Yes, I am, ma'am. I am involved in it. I am still on 4, making a moral inventory. Yes, ma'am.
What else are you doing?
I am also involved in AA and NA. I come to the speaker meetings every single week. I do not miss them. I'm on the list for school. Unfortunately, they haven't got me in there yet. And I'm also on the list for a couple other programs, ma'am. I'm trying to better myself. I'm not just trying to sit here.
So, the smart recovery, how do you do within the group settings that you attend?
I do excellent. I have a progress report here if you want me to read it to you. I have a progress report. Okay. Smart recovery comments. Mr. Gilbar has been active in smart recovery sessions since the end of January, attending 11 sessions in total thus far. Smart recovery is a curriculum-based group that emerges peer participation in the participants' recovery process, and all participants are required to attend 24 classes. While in these classes, he has participated in group discussions and contributed to overall conversations that occurred. At this time, he is steadfastly completing the requirements of continued smart recovery participation and have all excellent except for one, attendance is good. Ma'am, if you let me, the one I'm most proud of is the one in Tier 4. I'm sure you know about the program. It's a very intense program. I have also a community member of the week certificate. But this one is the one I am proud of, and I got this from my counselor on Friday, ma'am. It said, Mr. Gilbar is making great
What's the name
progress.
of it?
This is Tier 4.
Yeah, but what's the name of the certificate?
Oh, this is just a certificate for, Community Member of the Week, Tier 4 program,
Got it.
presented to Richard Gilbar.
Okay,
Okay, this says, Mr. Gilbar is making great progress in Tier 4 program. He shows his commitment to recovery by actively participating in group activities. He follows the program rules and uses available sources. He shows he is serious about overcoming challenges. His positive attitude and willingness to work with his peers creates a supportive environment that helps him grow. And again, I have all excellence, except for one, productivity is good. Overall excellent.
Welcome everybody
Okay.
to You Have a Collect.
so now, so you're gonna finish Tier 4 in June, and you
Yes,
need
ma'am.
to finish it. You
Yes,
need to finish
I agree.
it for a number of reasons. In addition to smart recovery of where you're doing the 12 step, that goes hand in hand with the Tier 4.
Yes, ma'am.
You've never done well before because, as you have indicated, you never had a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
So you started out talking about a relapse prevention plan, but I want you to tell me a little bit more. So you said you're going to attend brief counseling, which I think is wonderful because I think you need to address that part of, some of the problems that, you're facing, and you're taking responsibility for what happened to the mother of your child,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
So but you also said that if you relapse, you're going to check into rehab and talk with sponsors. So that seems like an after the fact thing. Tell me what plan you will have in place that when you get that urge or that craving to use, what it is that you're going to do next. And that you would have learned from the 12 step and the NA meetings.
Can you repeat that last part, please? The 12 step?
No, I said those are things that you would learn in the 12 steps.
Yes. Yes.
So what
ma'am.
happens when you get an urge or craving?
Okay. You have to have a sponsor or somebody else you can call and get that load off of your chest. Because if I hold it in, my addiction's gonna win. Like you said, my track record shows that, ma'am. I'm going to be leaving here with a sponsor. I'm also going to be leaving here in CCAR, Connecticut Academy of Recovery Coach.
Right. We're familiar with that. So
yes,
you have connected with CCAR, and when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get out, they will assign a recovery coach to you. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying? Okay.
yes, ma'am. But before I even leave prison, I plan on having a sponsor set up. There's a couple of gentlemen that come in here every Thursday night, and they're excellent. They really have a powerful story. They keep in touch with the gentlemen that get out of here. Where I would like to go is also they have it's a very big recovery town. In Torrington, they have McCollum Foundation. They have Catholic Family Services. They have many AA/NA meetings.
Have you connected with any of them before?
Yes. I would like
You're
to
going to do that before you leave.
Yes, ma'am, I can. Yes, I can.
So which one? 'Cause I know the two that you mentioned. Catholic Charities and McCall.
McCall Foundation, and if I am granted parole, it's almost guaranteed they're gonna give me an outpatient program or something through McCall Foundation. If not, I'm still gonna get into one-on-one counseling through McCall Foundation. I know that they also offer that, no matter what.
Okay.
And that's even if I don't get parole, I'm still going to do that. Counseling helps me very much with meetings. And like I said, the grief counseling, I know I need that too, ma'am.
You can get that at the McCollum Foundation also.
I'm not sure about that. That's something I have to look into. I'm not sure if they offer that.
Because, for McCall Foundation,
Yes.
let's see, you can do mental health and substance abuse. And I'm not sure about the grief counseling. So you may have to go through Catholic Charities.
Yes, I understand that. I kind of figured Catholic Family Services does that, but I wasn't sure. But that's definitely something I can't wait to get into it, actually, to keep digging inside myself and learn more about myself. Because, man, I do not want to go on this road anymore. Like I said, it's taken everything from me, everything. And I'm never going to get that low again. And the only reason I said about
you can't say you're never going to get, because we never know what's going to happen. What you can say is that you're going to be proactive about,
yes.
And that's why it's important for you to have a really good release plan before you leave.
Yes, ma'am, I totally agree.
So you're going to have to sit down on paper and figure out your relapse prevention. And
yes.
the CCAR recovery coach, their primary, what they're going to teach you to do is how to live a sober life in a sober community, which is very important. And then, whoever your sponsor is, you work the 12-step with them.
Yes. Yep.
So you have to write all of those things down, because, I keep looking at the reason why you're here. And it is very, very concerning.
I understand, man. To address that, we just had an assignment yesterday about our last relapse, and the last part of it was the recovery plan. And my mother has over 10 years clean. Like I said, I came from a household where addiction ran rampant, but she has 10 years clean. That is who I'm trying to use for my sponsor. Not for my AA sponsor, but for my parole sponsor. But you hit it right on the nail on the head, ma'am. You have to be prepared, because like I said, life is going to throw life at you, and you have to be prepared to deal with that without picking up. And if I'm just left with just me and my addiction's going to win. And I know that. And so I'm fighting it every day, and I'm going to continue to fight this for the rest of my life. And I understand that.
Now, did you mention that you want to sponsor to your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you give that information to the parole officer? Because I think I have you going to a halfway house.
No, yes, I did give her that information. She has never called yet. My mother's been waiting for her to call. She's been up every morning, 8 o'clock.
Hey, guys.
Because I did not see that. So what you might want to do is, after the hearing today, you might want to contact the parole officer and give her the information so that she can follow up with your mother. You still have until the end of June, because that's, the tier 4 is definitely what you need.
Yes.
So you have another 3 more months to go.
Yes, ma'am.
So during that time, the parole officer can contact your mother and see. But if you are released today, we still have to add a halfway house, just because we don't have confirmation today. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I wish you much success in the Tier 4 program.
Yes.
And I hope that you do physically write out your release plan and make sure you connect with CCAR.
I'm going to make sure to do that, ma'am.
Okay.
And I will be completing Tier 4, definitely.
Right. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning again, sir. My colleague asked most of the questions I wanted to ask. I just had one thing I wanted to talk about was in February of 2024, you got a disciplinary report.
Yes, sir.
Can you just tell us what happened?
Sir, on my behalf. That is the first disciplinary report I have ever gotten. Usually I am a model inmate. I take accountability for it. What happened was I was listening to my headphones. I did not hear the CO say, next, I guess he was having a problem with people getting off their bunks, going visiting people and stuff like that. And I did not know that. He wrote in the report that he told me to go back to my bunk many times, and I'm not I don't look for trouble or anything. If a CO tells me something, I do it, sir. Like I said, this is my first one, but I did get off my bunk, and he came over and told me to get back on my bunk. I continued to go back over to my bunk, got on my bunk. 20 minutes later, they took me down to SAG. It was my first ticket ever, so I just signed it. I look back at it now, and I probably should have contested it. I might have won, but I was off my bunk, and I was off my bunk. He might have seen something different than what I thought happened, but I was off my bunk, and that was my first ticket ever.
Okay.
And
All right. Well, I appreciate your explanation.
It was a misunderstanding, sir, really.
Okay.
And I was off my bunk, so I was off my bunk.
I did read that, and it's been over a year since that happened. I would just caution you, over the next couple months, you're doing well right now. Any kind of disciplinary report or ticket is going to set you back. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Pay
I'm
very close.
aware.
Yeah, pay very close attention when they're talking and their directions. I understand sometimes, you have your headphones on. There's a lot of things going on, and it sounds like you didn't do it intentionally. I get that, but it still would be a disciplinary report. You know what I mean? So you really need to do everything you can to avoid those situations. Okay.
Yes, I learned my lesson the hard way. It's not happening again.
Okay, that's all I had. I'm going to turn it over to the panel member, Zabo Sasu, to see if she has any questions for you.
I just have two things that I needed to ask quickly, Mr. Gilbar. The first is in relation to your criminal history. Would it be accurate for me to assume that all of your previous offenses that had occurred over the last several years were connected to your substance abuse?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then in terms of the people, places, and things that you talked about as you're formulating your release plan, I read in one of the reports that your eventual goal is to move to Vermont. Is that still part of your long-term goals, to change your scenery?
I would like to, yes. Eventually, yes, ma'am. Eventually, yes.
Because I think that you know just as much as anybody that it is a double-edged sword in the Torrington area. There are a lot of resources, but there's also a lot of use. And so you're going to have to balance that in terms of your release plan and everything else that goes into it. So,
yes, ma'am. Okay. That's why I was talking about the boundaries, ma'am. Yes, because it is prevalent there, and it is something that concerns me very much. It's something that passes through my head every day, but it's something that I have to prepare myself for, because whether I go to Vermont, Florida, or California, there's still going to be drugs around, and I understand that. But you definitely have a legitimate concern, because yes, it does have very good sobriety, but on the other hand, it has a lot of use and people not doing the right thing and things of that nature too, man.
Okay. Well, I think it's good that you recognize that and understand some of the challenges that you're going to face.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
They should
Mr.
say
Gilbar, what's going to happen now is that
Mr.
we're going to
what?
deliberate, and then we're going to give you our answer. You can listen to
Gilbar.
our
Okay, I got him.
deliberations.
I got his
just ask
name.
you don't interrupt, okay?
No problem, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Panel member Chance.
I'm gonna write his name on the chat, but I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna put his last name and then his first name on two separate two separate tags.
So it's not. And I appreciate him saying, because he clarified it started in his 20s and he's now 40. So it's been a long time. He is currently addressing his drugs and alcohol by by being in Tier 4 and the Smart Recovery.
First name is going to be Richard.
Smart Recovery, he's working
I
on
pinned his
the
last
12
name on the
step,
screen.
attending meetings, doing his groups, and express what he's learned in Tier 4 about taking accountability for his thoughts and actions, and that he's previously been on Suboxone and Methadone. He no longer has to be on that, so that was a big accomplishment for him. He did relate that being in bad relationships is one of the problems that he has, and he identified not setting boundaries in those bad relationships, meaning that, you know, if he was clean and he was with someone that was using, then he would go ahead and do that with them. He talked about the need for structure, but that he's also taking responsibility for his actions as it relates to his work, schools, meetings, and, you know, said there are a couple of family members who are still using, that he knows he has to tell them he can no longer be around them because they're using. And he knows what protective order means, and I know it related to the person who's no longer here. So overall, Mr. Gilbar, I thought, presented good today. And what I like about is,
they got him for prostitution.
And talking about what he's learned so far, where he pulled up the need for him now to take his fatherhood more responsible. And I hope when he goes in the community that he will take a fatherhood program when he does. So I would be in favor on a contingent release upon completion of the Tier 4.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he did well today also. You know, he's a 5 alcohol and drug score in DLC, so we're talking about very serious addiction, the highest that there is.
Right.
He knows where he's going back to is a place where that has not gone away. You know, so when he goes back, those drugs will still be there in that area that he's from. He appears to be doing well, and he has
welcome from the UK.
You know, outlined his plans and how he's going to stay sober and his relapse prevention plan. Do you think you know, a contingency being 3 months is okay? How do you feel about that? I mean,
Connecticut, it's Connecticut, the USA.
I'm okay with it. I don't know what the timeline is for contingency.
No, it's fake.
We could ask the chair if that would be too long. But for me, it would be fine.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to finish Tier 4.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm just between, are we here in July and the contingency? Those are the two things that you know what I mean?
UK.
So I see.
Right.
One of those two.
So maybe we could just pause and ask the chair, then we could decide whether we want to do a rehear or
UK, that's right.
Let's see what appeal member Zappo says.
It's Connecticut, the state of Connecticut.
I think that the programs that he's taken have definitely contributed to the offender change, the identification of what his risks are moving forward, his release plan. Obviously, his motivation is his son, so all of their pieces have come together. But I do want to see him finish Tier 4 because I think that's going to be the foundation of success moving forward.
Yeah, we're gonna find out right now.
We're all
it's
in
real
agreement.
time.
It's how we want to handle it. So if we could pause, we can just call the chair and ask her.
Hey, how many people do I got here from the UK? It seems like there's a lot of people in here from the UK.
Mr. Gilbar, we're gonna just clarify something, okay?
Yes.
Before we make our final decision, we're going back and forth on an idea, and so
that's right,
just give us a couple minutes, and then we'll come right back to you
from the UK.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
Damn. Hey, so this account that you guys are watching I set it up and it's a UK based account. That's why I'm guessing that there's a lot of people from the UK. I love you guys. Hey, thank you appreciate the support. Highly appreciate it. So this is a board of parole hearing that's taking place in real time in the state of Connecticut in the United States of America. So this gentleman here, I believe he caught some type of arrest surrounding narcotics, if you will. Australia in the house. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. So right now he's trying to get out of prison right now. So they're gonna decide whether they're gonna let him go or not. There's a panel of three board members. As long as two of them agree to allow him out, then he'll go home. And right now, because there's quite a few hearings today. So when the hearings start, pay attention because they're gonna say the date. They're gonna give today's date, so like that, you know that this is live. This is being live streamed in real time. Also, pay attention to the individuals' names because sometimes I don't catch him and stuff because I gotta step away and whatnot. So let's see. Well, they'll tell him that they're gonna tell us right now. So we're gonna get to hear that right now. No, they don't. They don't do this in California. This is it's only certain states that they do. That's right, Scotland. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Represent. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up? Hey, my apologies. The chat is just going crazy, so I can't see all the messages. But hey, I do appreciate you guys. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit the follow button. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you anything, and you're not required to give me any gifts or anything like that. I'm not tripping enough for that. I just want your follow, and I want some of your time. And if you could share, you know, sharing is caring. I would highly appreciate that. Don't be a Mr. Krabby Patty. Don't be a Uncle Scrooge. I also got this stream running just in case my account goes down. I'm running this stream on YT, and this is my YT account at CollectCallFrom. So if you want to watch it over there on YT, I got a few different streams running, but the quality looks way better than what it looks like on TT. So if you want to watch it and you want to see it a lot better and full HD 1080p, go ahead and check us out over there on YT, if you will. That red logo right there with the white triangle. Is this a parole board here? Yeah, it is. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that right there. Joining the team. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Hey, what's up, Sneakerhead? How's it going? Hey, what's up, Ange? How's it going? And F around and find out. Welcome to Have a Collect Call From. I'm not sure, I didn't catch that part. I stepped away when they were talking about a lot of his charges and whatnot. So let me see what's his charges. So his charges were this is Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, Australia in the house. That's right, Steph. So his charges were having an affair with how can I say this, with man, with glass, with broken glass, if you will. If you guys catch my drift right there. Let me see. Self-medicating shouldn't be an arrestable offense. In the U.S., a lot of things. Hey, thank you for appreciate you following on the YT account, Jenny. Appreciate it. Let me see right here. All right. How's everybody doing today? Let's go ahead and get a collect call roll call going on. You might be wondering what's a roll call. Like, I want to know where you guys are coming in from. Damn, Manchester, UK, broken glass. I do these every single day. We do parole board hearings. We do calls from prison. We do video visits. Check out my profile. Oh, you know what? This is my little account, so I really don't have that many things on it. But if you go to my main account or you go to the YT account, man, woo! I don't think I've ever seen the chat go this crazy before. We got Arizona, Dallas, Texas. We got USA, Texas. Man, we got everybody. Daytona, Ohio.
Okay, Mr. Gilbar, we're back on a record now. Okay, we had to just ask a question, and we're going to continue our deliberations.
All right.
I just ask you, you can listen, just don't interrupt, and then we'll give you our answer shortly here.
Okay. So because Mr. Gilbar has such a high drug score, and he's in tier 4,
Tennessee,
the smart recovery, and we have CCAR and everyone in his blood. I think we should just do a rehear for the end of June. And during that time, just ask him to come back with his release plan. So we could deny him today for
what am I watching?
Inadequate institution program participation, because that is program that thing to fit.
And maybe criminal history when I had that in, the second one.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Okay, so you're fine with just the
one is fine.
Okay. Yep. So panel member
Yeah.
Sasser, are you okay with this?
So just to be clear, this is a technical type of denial because we need him to finish the program.
It is a denial with a rehear.
Right.
The reason for denial is the inadequate institution program participation.
Okay, and so what we're gonna ask him to do is to, complete Tier 4, not get any other disciplinary reports and just any other positive programs.
So we're gonna say complete Tier 4,
Mm-hmm.
develop its relapse prevention plan
Okay,
and no DRs.
That's it. It's over for him. He was.
okay, in regards to Richard Gilbar, inmate number 298832, I make a motion to deny
Metheny, yeah, Metheny.
discretionary parole.
That's what I was
The
trying to think of.
rehear date, end of June 2025, with the following recommendations: that he complete the Tier 4 program, develop a relapse prevention plan that he can outline at that new hearing,
He spoke already.
and no additional disciplinary reports.
Wisconsin.
Do I have a second?
And it's the reason for the denial is the inadequate institution program.
Exactly. So yes, I'll just put that on the record. The reason for denial is the inadequate program participation. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Gilbar, do you understand what happened?
A little bit.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we were trying to decide, how we handle this because you still have some programming left, and we want you to complete that based on your drug score and your drug problems that you've outlined. So, so you're gonna come back for another hearing at the end of June, okay? Here again, and by that time, we'd like you to complete
Thank
that Tier 4 program.
Yes, sir.
Continue to work on your relapse prevention program. Be prepared to talk about what you're gonna do when you get out, and no other disciplinary reports, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're all done for today. Thank you.
I have just one question. With the sponsor information, how do I go about that, ma'am?
The parole officer,
Just
You
write to
can.
it?
write to her and she will respond and you provide her with the information.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the summertime. Thank
Okay.
you.
This concludes the hearing for Richard Gilbar.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. All right, so they're gonna be bringing somebody else new. Pay attention to the individuals' names, cause I be forgetting. All right, they're gonna call somebody else in. They're gonna give the date, so like that, this is real time. That is live. So just pay attention. Let me see. Sponsors, Extra Vino. Yeah. Hi from Scotland. Hey, welcome. Let me see right here.
Okay.
Man, Dan.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have viewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning, Joy Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sassu.
Also present is the Office of Victim Services. Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Heriberto Velez, 403153.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Heriberto Velez, inmate number 403153. He is serving a sentence of 10 years followed by 10 years of special parole for assault first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of June 11, 2025. There is victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed alternative to violence basic workshop and voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Velez, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I want to say thank you for this opportunity and good morning to you all. And I wrote a little short letter that I'd like to read now.
Connecticut.
Before I begin, I want to demonstrate my sincere sympathy for the victim and how my actions I committed were wrong. I am truly sorry, and I can't imagine what post-traumatic stress experiences you go through to my emotional choices I took on October 30th, 2016. As the years went on, I couldn't forgive myself.
Because even when I tried to, all the agonizing pain and sufferings and others around you went through will be an unforgettable tainted image in my heart and mind. For even with his forgiveness, Alvin. It will be uneasy for me as I be discriminability to the Board of Parole. I know my charges can be a hard pill to take, but I ask you all to stand before me today to judge me for the person I am now, not then. I am remorseful, not only justifying my actions for what I did wrong, but what I should have done right. That could and will be avoided in future consequences. I have spent just several years replaying the same night in my head, thinking what I could have done differently, only to take full accountability for my rigorous act of tyranny. My time I have been incarcerated has affected my behavior skills and where I deport myself in a code of integrity. For example, I am an advocate for my siblings, especially for my fellow inmates. Whenever they see someone to talk to, I'm there. I'm actively working hard to get my life back on track for success. I utilize all my programs and they offer here at Call Robinson's. To name a few, I completed several programs to show for like AVP, as you mentioned, voices, and fatherhood. Along the way, I enrolled in school and met great teachers who helped me push my motivation to change, not only because I need to, but because I want to see my children together. I have seen a lot of people come and go. I say this because it impacted me. I could have easily spent the rest of my life behind bars. I was and still am when I think about my harsh reality. I took this time to relate to others in the same situations, it be in programs or in facilities, to see where I went wrong. And I understand I should look for help to see if my actions were the right choice and not let my emotions get the best of me. I mentally plan to continue to be an outstanding role model to my peers, regardless of the verdict today. And I have been cited any tickets for over 6 years. Without using much words, I take full responsibilities for my actions. And not only am I sorry, I am going to make sure for a fact that I won't let my anger or my feelings get the best of me to put me in this outcome I am today. Again, I ask you not only to see me by me telling you I changed for the better, but to use me for an example that with the second chance, all the programs from DLC did in fact work, and that I will never go through this road again. That's a lesson learned. I will fail and get back up on my feet. I am more now ready to keep moving forward. I want to say thank you for the opportunity, for letting me read my letter.
How many?
Thank you, sir.
How many suits do you
Appreciate
think
your putting those thoughts on
he
paper
paid for that letter?
and reading that to us. So what's going to happen today is that we're going to take turns asking questions. And then after that, we're going to hear from the Office of Victim Services, and then we'll deliberate, and then we'll give you our answer today. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to start asking the questions today.
Okay.
So on the day of the assault, had you been drinking? It sounds like there was a party going on. Were you drinking leading up to this?
Yeah, it was a party, and there was alcohol involved and different other types of drugs. And it was supposed to be a good party, family party. It would happen at my aunt's house, and it just went way too far. The drinking and the drugs. And that's the problem.
You think you were intoxicated and high? Would you say that you were intoxicated and high at that time?
I was drunk. Yes, very drunk.
10 suits.
So just try to explain to us. I heard your remorse, and you thought about this, and I appreciate all that. Explain to us, why at that time, what was going on in your mind? You felt you had to stab the victim. Seemed like he was leaving, right?
Well, that's a good question. I want to say that there was a lot of misunderstanding what happened that night, but what I remember from that night that happened, it was supposed to go like a good party. All of us supposed to enjoy it, have a good time, but it led to an argument because everybody else at the party was getting along, but obviously drugs makes people a little more angry and not themselves. And when that happened, got in an argument, I actually told the victim, Elvin.
Let me just stop you real quick. I'm just going to ask you not to use the victim's name. We know who he is, so you just say the victim, then we'll know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Asked him to leave.
So I took the victim to leave. He was agreeing. He did agree at first, and once he got so far, he was just like he turned around and he just didn't want to like just keep on going. He saw me and he out his mouth he was telling me like, yo, let's handle this right now. And I try to like leave, like this is a true story. I'm not making this up. And I was trying to go back to my aunt's house and he ran up behind me. He just like pushed up on me and he took out a knife. He had a knife on him. He swung it. He stabbed me once. And then after that, I had no other choice but to defend myself.
So did you ever get treatment for a stab wound?
No.
There's I read the statement that
Thank you,
that
man.
you're giving now. I read the story before, but the victim's report of what happened is different than this. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you never got treated for a stab wound. You didn't go to the hospital to get stitches. You had no medical treatment.
I have not went to the hospital, no. I let it heal on its own. I brought it up.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
If you're not tapping, you must be napping. What's up? Let's get to 20K.
After that day happened, and I got arrested. I tried to tell my public defender to like the story of what happened. He wasn't really like listening to me. I told him about my stab wounds. He said that it doesn't matter because the victim is like very ill and was way worse than me. So he said, forget about it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The victim was in worse shape than you, for sure. How do you talked about this a little bit in your opening statement, but how do you think your actions affected the victim over these years? What do you think that that person had to endure during this time?
I believe that's a good question that you asked. I believe he is going through a lot. I know he's been through some pain and I know he's going through a lot and it's hard for him to forgive. And if I was in the same shoes as him, I believe that like it'll be hard for me to forgive somebody like that. But for me today, like I know that to move on and to move forward, you have to forgive others, even if it's a step, just a step. And I know I changed, and I hope he could forgive me for what I did that day.
Okay. I read you completed the Alternatives to Violence. You mentioned that also. Can you just tell us some of the things that you learned in that program?
Yes, sir. AVP was a 48-hour course. It was Friday to Sunday. It was like 8 hours a day. I liked the program a lot. It had to do with a lot of group of activities. The group helped me like realize where my pain and my suffering like was coming from. I had a lot of anger, and they helped me like realize what my triggers were and how to handle my triggers, and like where did they come from and how to like make them feel, how to control it a little bit better. And that's what I remember from, because it was a long time ago. It was 2017.
Yeah,
it's a while ago.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the drugs and alcohol again. So you have a drug and alcohol score of 4 in DOC. Do you know that?
No, yeah, because I think it's because I signed up for NA. I was trying to like volunteer to.
Well, probably too, because you were intoxicated when the crime. I mean, that's going to factor into it. But a 5 is the highest you can have. You're almost at the highest one, but you haven't completed like a substance abuse program. It's your program, whether it's for alcohol or drugs. As far as I can tell, it looks like you have that listed on your OEP. Have you done AA or anything else?
Nah, I was signed up. No, I haven't done any programs for addiction for drugs or alcohol.
Okay.
I haven't, but I signed up last year for NA just because I wanted to volunteer. Before that, my score was a 2. I asked the counselor, the teacher, the program lady, if my score will go up, and she said it will not affect any of my scores. And that's why I signed up for NA. I wanted to do that just so I could be active, so I could be like busy, so I could take advantage of all the programs.
Well, I mean, I think you definitely should address, I mean, you're claiming you're intoxicated when this happened. So alcohol is involved in a violent crime. You need to definitely address that part of this whole puzzle. You know what I mean? Because you can't continue to use that as an excuse later, like, you know, I was drunk or whatever, you know what I mean? So, I mean, how often were you drinking when you were out in the community before this happened?
I would say I was drinking a little bit, a couple of times a month, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I was young, didn't really know like what to do and have responsibilities. I didn't take life serious.
You think you have a problem with alcohol and drugs?
I would not have no problems. I have no habits.
I don't believe him.
Right.
Do you guys believe him?
How do you think you've changed during this incarceration?
Welcome back.
Good question. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that what I had in store to me was a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, and anger for my life growing up with my dad and my aunt and what happened when I was younger. But now I know, like, I can't keep holding that and keep making excuses. I gotta, like, handle my responsibilities and be stronger. And
Y'all so harsh.
now I move in a code of integrity and righteousness. I want to be better and be a role model to my kids and help others. And I always help others when I can, all the time. Like, I like it. It makes me feel good. And no matter what happens, like, I'm still going to keep doing what I am doing today.
All right. You mentioned anger in your answer and a couple of times before this. And it sounds like you were angry tonight in this incident, but I don't see that you've completed the anger management class. I did see you did alternatives to violence, but that's a little bit different than anger management. Have you ever tried to sign up for that?
Yes. I came here from McDougal. I completed programs. I have one program left, and it was anger and management. They wouldn't give me the program. They said I had too much time left. I came here to call Robinson 2 years ago. I asked the counselor if I have any programs to do left, like any programs to do. He said I was completed for all my programs.
Yeah, I know. I don't see it on your OAP, but that doesn't mean that you don't have an anger problem. You've mentioned it several times, and there was a lot of anger involved in this crime. Mm-hmm. So it definitely still needs to get addressed one way or another, you know, regardless if it's on your OAP. So you have to advocate for yourself to your counselor and say, you know, say the things that you're telling us, that, you know, you have underlying anger in your life that from your childhood, whatever, and explain what's going on. And you could benefit from being in a program like that, you know, so you have the tools to be able to handle yourself when those anger feelings arise again. You're out, you know what I mean? So it doesn't you don't result in this and back here again.
This is Connecticut.
No, yeah, you definitely had a good point. I should have told him. I don't know. That's why after I asked him, he said he didn't say anything about the program, about anger management. So I signed up for fatherhood instead.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. All those programs are good. The more you can get, the better. But they're different, you know, different issues, you know?
Yeah, different issues. Yeah, you're right.
You know, I read that you want to work in a barbershop when you're released. And then I did see a letter of an offer of employment, not from the barbershop, but from an automobile dissembler job.
Yes.
Okay, so just talk about what you plan to do for work when you get out, because there's two different things here. I just wonder what do you think is more realistic? Are you going to start with one and then work into the other?
Well, the barber job is my main goal. I love barbering. I'm the barber job now. I got the barber job here now. I'm really good at it. Everybody tells me I'm good at it. Okay. I've been doing it for like 2.5 years now. I always wanted to do it. And my good friend that you see that gave me the job request, he opened his own company, and he is very successful so far with his company that he opened. And he said I could work with him if I need any help as soon as I get out. But I gotta figure out my schedule as soon as I get out. When I do have the chance, is to go to school and find a part-time job.
Come to the UK.
Right.
Oh man.
So
that's
I
funny.
read that you were approved for a halfway house, and then it sounded like you maybe withdrew from this hearing, but then withdrew your withdrawal. So you're here today. What's going on with the halfway house situation with
Hey,
DOC? Have you heard anything?
Nothing yet. All I know is I got approved on October 11th. It's been 4.5 months now.
Thank you for the parallel, Moses.
I don't know how that works. I think they're waiting for something for parole, maybe. I think. I know. I'm not sure.
There's got to be an opening. You know, there's a lot of people that need to, so they have to have a slot for sure. You know, but
Yeah.
looks like your end of sentence is less than a year away from now.
Yeah, I would definitely will like to go to halfway house. I think it'll be definitely a good spot for me to get back started to adapt to the real world. It's been a long time since I've been in here, and it's just I've been outside. I don't have people like that, like family, and I'm still removed. I learned to be independent, and that won't stop my growth. I will still do what I have to do on my own.
Okay. So that was what I was going to ask you a little bit about what support you might have in the community. So you're going to be in the halfway house. You can't stay there forever. What's the plan after that? You have 10 years of special parole, right? So
10 years?
yeah, you're
Oh.
gonna have a lot of supervision. You'll be able to use your parole officer as like a resource. They could help with work. You know, if you need work or different things, you could probably talk to them and use them as a resource. But what's your plan after the halfway house? Do you have family that you can live with or friends?
Yes, I have a friend that she's been there for me for most of my incarceration.
He's
She's
gonna
very,
violate. There's no way he's gonna be able to do
She's
10
good
years of
friends. We talk a
parole.
lot. I have my brother who's also he is my role model pretty much now. He does very good. He's been working hard 5 years now. I look up to him. And I also have my good friend that you've seen on the job site, LLC.
Yes.
Michael Hill. He is also my very good friend. And if anything comes about me leaving the halfway house and living situations, I have them.
Okay. All right, Mr. Velez. Those are all the questions I had. I'm going to turn over to my colleague, member Sapo Sasu, and she's going to ask you a couple questions. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Velez. I
Good morning.
think that we all realize as we're sitting here that you could have been incarcerated on a much more serious charge of attempted murder. And the assault one is going to allow you to actually come out into the community at some point and be productive, hopefully. I'm looking at some of your record, and I appreciate what you said about some of the self-reflection that you've done, because it seems that you struggled with attendance when you were at Wheeler as a teenager. You've struggled with community release, and I am concerned about the lack of a addiction program, because you yourself had said that you've had blackout situations, and you were discharged at one point, and you had a urine that showed cocaine.
Oh,
and then you had some failures to report. So my concern is, what is the actual level of maturity that you've achieved inside? Because none of this is indicative of someone who is an upstanding member of the community. You have 2 kids. You're the sole parent at this point, it appears, and I give you credit for that. That's a lot, but you've been in for the majority of their younger years. I see who you were. Who are you going to be when you come out? I think you need to give us a little bit about who you are today. Not just don't repeat what you've already said, but you're 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
This has been a lot in terms of this last decade for you on a lot of fronts. It's been a lot for your kids. This was a very ugly crime. And if it wasn't for 2 Good Samaritans, that person, the victim, would be dead right now. So I'm not that impressed with the actions of people who were at that party, some of whom are your relatives. who are you today, and how are you going to improve your community and make sure that your kids are happy, secure, and productive as well as they move forward?
What I could say is what I've done back in the days for my kids is still something I want to do to this day. I did do a lot of bad, and this is why I'm trying to come back out. I want to leave and do better than what I did before. I just want to be a successful one. I want to work hard, and I want to be there for my kids. They tried me. Like you said, I have been in here longer than I've been out there for them. And that really, really hurts, like a lot. And that's the first thing that I'm always going to think about. And I want to share my life with them. I want to share their experiences. I already miss when they walked. I miss when their graduations. I miss their first pain, their fall, their little situations that make them who they are, their personality. And that really, that's one thing that I can never get back. So in so much words, I thought I had it all planned out to come here and say what I have to say to you guys, but like my brother told me yesterday, when you come here, they're gonna ask you questions and they're gonna see the real you, not what you wrote. So I just want to be a great and a better father to my kids. I want to be there, and I want to show them that even though I wasn't, that my past doesn't define who I am now. I want to be better. I want to improve in their life. I want to work hard. I want to share with them. I want to be there. I want to be a real father and take life serious. I didn't take life serious. I was young. I was real dumb. But I learned and talked to a lot of people in here. A lot of people that talked to me and showed me what I was doing wrong, and a lot of good conversations, and a lot of my teachers have definitely helped me, showing me what it is to be to work hard and stay focused and to not give up.
Mr. Les, where are you with your GED?
I have 2 complete certificates. I got language arts and I passed
10 years.
Science. I still need 2 more.
Are you actively working on those right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so upon your eventual release, whatever that is, you're going to have 2 kids who are preteens. You're interested in going to school to do the barbering certification.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need a part-time job, as you've stated. You have an older brother, the role model, who's been taking care of your kids, that I'm assuming you could live with him as well, or the friend that you've mentioned. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of a support. Those are a lot of competing issues. So what have you identified as risks and triggers for you? That's a lot of pressure coming out. You're going to have your kids, you're going to have to balance the scheduling of job, you're going to need money. What are the triggers that you're going to be watching for to make sure that either the anger or the need to use in order to calm down or relax or whatever aren't going to be the first things that happen?
Do you guys think they're going to let him out?
The first thing I learned here is patience, and it's like self-talk, self-improvement. I learned that if I talk to myself, calm myself down, it always works. Never give up is definitely one. And as soon as I get out, I have a chance to do more. I can work hard. I can actually do what I can't do in here. I only send out a couple of dollars, but I always do, and I always try to help. But when I go home, I feel better. I'll feel like more of a man because I'm handling my responsibilities. And I think that will eliminate a lot of my stress because now I'm working hard. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of. And
What up, Joe Billings?
now I don't feel so much of a failure and so much shame because I'm in here and I can't do anything in here. But I hope I answered your question correctly.
You did. What I'm trying to get at is understanding that you have now realized through your incarceration
Thank you, KD.
and the programs that you've taken that it's okay to ask for assistance from your family, from whatever programs in the community that you get assigned. And frankly, as the chairman pointed out, you have 10 years of special parole. So you're going to have somebody that is going to be monitoring you until you're over 40, most likely. That's a lot. And I just want to make sure that you understand that these supports are in place to help you. And so my final question to you will be, how do you see that relationship with your parole officer? How do you envision using that person to help you?
I will definitely, if I need help, ask my parole officer, try to build a good relationship with my parole officer, always be honest for the most part, from the get-go, be honest. If I'm struggling, tell my parole officer what I'm struggling with, and if they can help me figure it out or put me in any program or help me find a job or anything that could potentially get me back in here, because I don't want to come back. But most of all, just be honest with my parole officer and follow the rules. Just be righteous. Just do the right thing most of the time. All the time. I mean, sorry, I'm nervous.
It's okay.
But yeah.
So I think the thing that I just want to point out is that you said when you're back home that you're going to feel like more of a man, that you're going to be able to support and, provide. And I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, my point to you is you're going to have all of these pressure points. Your kids are going to be asking for things. You're going to be looking for a job. You're going to have establishing, whatever you need to do for your barbering. It's a lot. You have to know when to do the timeout. You're going to have to do the timeout to your kids. You're going to have to do the timeout to a lot of people and say, hey, I need a minute here. Or you need to establish who you can talk to, whether it's your older brother or your friends or your parole officer. Your release is, you've been in for 8+ years. It's going to be a lot of new things for you. And I'm just concerned that you understand that the support that is supposed to accompany you upon release into the community is there to benefit you. I just want to make sure that you understand that.
I definitely do understand that. And I will, when those times come or those conversations come up with my kids or my brothers or anybody else that's close to me, good friends, and I do feel overwhelmed or anything that's happening too much, I will have that conversation with them. I'll tell them, like, this is not a good time, or I don't have enough money. I do care. I do want to help you, but I can't right now. I will always speak up and tell them, like, how I really feel about the situation. Even if it's a no, it doesn't mean I don't care or I don't want to. It's just I can't at this moment because dad or your good friend or brother is still working hard and got to get his life back on track to the point where it's like a good like balance where I don't feel where I won't fall back down.
Right. And I know that you don't think that you have formed any addiction habits, but I do think as you ponder your release plan, you really should think about relapse recovery and prevention as well, because it's everywhere. It doesn't matter which halfway house or which friend's house or which community you end up in. It's everywhere. And so that's just another thing for you to put on the list of how am I going to deal with this if I'm at my uncle's house, I'm at a friend's house, I'm in the community and I see so-and-so and they say, hey, let's go do this. It's out there. And I think that you can't be arrogant enough to think that it's not going to find you.
Okay, I'll definitely agree with that. I think anything that will help me make me better, that'll make me better. I think I will take that. I will always find time for any great support or group activity with with structure will help me. I'll definitely will do those programs, whatever it takes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councilmember Chance.
Yeah, so Mr. Velez, I want to go back
Oh, I hate this
on
lady.
two things.
She's
Mhm.
Now, sometime
She gets
between
under my skin.
2015 and 2016, you were
thank you for the follow. Highly
diagnosed with
appreciate
an
it.
alcohol and cocaine addiction. And while I know, and you received
Her
a Puno
voice.
ticket in May
Thank
of
you for that.
2020. So I
Thank
just
you for the
want to follow up with you and say to you that, you know, you may not think that alcohol or substance
Thank you,
abuse is
Rita.
a
Watch.
problem for you now, but because you said it played a huge role in why you're serving this lengthy sentence, it
Thank you, Nick.
behoves you to seek a program, even if it's just an educational program, to help you understand why you were under the influence and committed this offense.
Hey, she sounds like the creep keeper
And
from Tales from the Crypt.
So it's food for thought for you. And the other thing is, you know, I've heard you say that, you know, once you're back in the community, you know, you're going to be a man and, you know what you have to do. But Mr. Velez, you're growing up and learning to be a man who is learning to take responsibility for things that he has done in his past and prepare on how to avoid that. So you're becoming a man where you are. You will just have to put your money where your mouth is when you go in the community to follow up with all the positive things that you say you're learning.
Thank you, Teddy, for reposting.
You
I
get what I'm
appreciate
saying?
that.
You don't have to be in the community to say that you've become a man. You're becoming
Mike
one
Wazowski.
where you are right now.
I understand
And
what you're saying.
obviously, yeah, that's important to you, and it's important to your older
you for that
brothers
repost.
who have assisted you in the past. One last question. Do you think you have a problem with anger?
Yup. You got to say yeah. You got to say yeah. Don't take it too long. This
I
is live.
believe I have worked and self-reflected on my past for
Thank you for that.
many years. I had pain in my heart. I didn't forgive myself. I didn't forgive a lot of other people. So the first step I took was, even if they weren't there or we didn't speak, was to forgive them for what they did for me,
Zara, thank you
for what
for
they
the
did
heart
to
for that
me.
rose.
And now I take responsibilities for whatever comes after. I don't want to make excuses anymore. I do get mad. I do get a little frustrated,
No.
but it's because I expect a lot from myself. Like, I want more. I try hard. And then when I do fail or I do fall, I kind of like go hard on myself.
Thank you for that follow.
And it's not at other people I get mad at, it's mostly myself. Other people, they have such great things to say. They give me good advice. They tell me that I stop.
We're doing job interviews
they
right
call
now.
me Eddie, that's my nickname.
Virtual
They tell me, like,
interviews.
stop being so hard on yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Just take a breath, take deep breaths, and just try again.
Connecticut.
But yes, I do get a little emotional sometimes.
Who wants to get interviewed next? A show of hands, please.
Yeah.
We're
So
interviewing
I
today.
think those are some
Who
things
needs the
that
job?
you have to
Me.
figure out and how
Fast.
you can manage those feelings.
We're two for a job interview.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to wish you the best of luck going forward. I think you should just continue to work on what you're doing there. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, Mr. Velez. So what's going to happen now is we're going to hear from the Office of Victim Services.
Ooh, should we hire him? Or
During
should we
this part
pass?
of the hearing, you can listen, but I just ask that you do not interrupt. Okay, don't say anything, please.
The victim.
Yes, sir.
I think the victim
Okay,
might have
we're
written
gonna turn it over to the
a
Office of
statement.
Victim Services.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Sir Chair. Thank you, panel. I do have the mother of the victim who would like to address the board today. One moment.
Ooh, this is about to get real right now. It's about to get real and real quick, if you will. Hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Don't be Mr. Krabby Patty. Don't be Scrooge McDuck. Don't be a Codo. Don't be a Taiwan. Highly appreciated. It's free to follow. It's free to follow and it's free to tap. Also, sharing is caring. If you don't mind sharing it with those that you love, with those that you don't love, just get it out there. Thank you for that heart and thank you for that rose. Highly appreciated. And dang, you're making it rain with those roses. Gracias. Highly appreciate it. Gifts they're not required, but they are appreciated. So don't feel obligated. My thing is I'm trying to grow the channel. I think we have like 2,000 followers, so I'm trying to get to 10,000, so we could go ahead and get the creator program, if you will. So highly appreciate that, Kate. Highly appreciate that. I'm not sure why it's quiet. I'm guessing they're trying to patch through the victim's mom, if you will. Hey, thank you. Is that Nick? It starts with N, and I couldn't see it. My apologies. We can't hear.
Thank you. You may begin with your statement.
Okay, it's about to start. She can't even talk.
Am I being heard?
Yes, you are. Come on.
Yes.
Hey, well, hey, thank you guys from the UK. I appreciate you guys. UK and Ireland, the British. I love you guys. British and the Irish.
Good day to all of you.
Don't tell me to hush. I run this piece. See
This is
yourself
really
out.
hard for me.
Scotland. You
This is the first time that I have seen
hush.
the inmate since this all happened. I never really knew him. The only time I ever did see him was when I was at the park with my granddaughter with a friend of mine, and he approached me, literally approached me and smiled in my face. And he hadn't been arrested yet. And I couldn't understand why he did that, because I didn't even know that he knew that I was his mother. Then I realized, who he was, and it literally got me so scared and nervous that day I almost threw up, because I realized who that person was. So seeing him in this video for the first time since that day, it's really hard. But at the same time, it's heartbreaking for me. I see him, he's young, he's a father. And it makes it hard for me. But I need for him to understand that his actions and affected my family and his forever, right? Because he can't get certain things back, like he was saying before. He can't get certain steps from his children and the looks and everything. He can't get that back. There's things I can't get back that I'll never get back. And that's my son, the son that I knew. I'm just gonna, at this point, read the rest of my statement because I don't want to get away from my statement.
Why is this fool filling up on himself? That's to the mom, yeah. This is the mom. Who's over here fondling his chest. Man, this is a board of parole hearing. This isn't the time and place for that.
So Thank you for allowing me to give this statement on behalf of my son, my family, and myself. I would like to address how this assault affected my son. My son has been left with horrible, debilitating disorders, such as mental illness that impact his life ability to feel safe in public. My son no longer the person we once knew, nor will he ever be. He has been declared disabled by the court. Therefore, he has not been able to fully take care of himself on his own, which has left us as a family always making sure that he's taken care of emotionally, physically, and financially. As his mother, I can only pray that my son overcomes this one day. As for the inmate, I'm hoping that he feels some kind of remorse and growth has happened in his life so that this never happens again. That he will be someone who will be positive to someone else in need and to the community. As a woman that believes that in order to ask God for forgiveness, I have to forgive first. I understand the pain he caused will probably never go away. The only advice I have for him is to search for God, ask for forgiveness, and let him be the center of his heart, for only God can make it right. I pray he finds this. Remember that not only was my family affected by this, but so was his. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your statement.
You're welcome.
Please continue to view. Board members, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Velez, what's going to happen now is we're going to deliberate. So we're going to talk amongst ourselves about your case, and then we're going to give you a decision, okay? You can listen, but same thing, please don't interrupt, okay?
This is Connecticut.
Thank
That
you.
is correct.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Mr. Velez is 30 years old. She heard an assault first charge from a very serious violent assault. You know, he sounds pretty good today. He's talked about some positive program he's completed and the positive things he wants to do when he's out in the community. He's been approved for a halfway house. His pro eligibility date, though, is in June. And it looks like his NSNS is less than a year away,
Yes.
according to my documents. So he's accumulated 3 disciplinary reports while he's been incarcerated, but it's been some time since those have happened. So he appears to be doing well. You know, my concerns with this are, you know, his account of what happened is very different than what the victim's is. Although he does express remorse and sorrow for what happened, you know, that concerns me. In addition to that, you know, he does have a DOC, drug and alcohol score before. He was intoxicated, admittedly, by himself when this took place. There's other information in here about other substance abuse. He hasn't taken an addiction services program, although it's on his OAP. Didn't talk about getting into any kind of outpatient treatment in his release plan or any kind of, you know, we had to kind of talk to him about that and get him on board with, you know, addressing those issues when he gets out. So he hasn't really made a plan for himself, you know, recognizing the role that substances probably played in this crime, you know. So I'm really concerned about that part of it. In addition to that, he admittedly, you know, talked about anger several times throughout this. He hasn't taken an anger management class. I understand it's not on his OAP right now. It wasn't a pass. Regardless, he hasn't addressed that part of this puzzle yet. You know, he did talk about self-reflection. In some ways, he's dealing with those things, and he did take that 48-hour class, Alternatives to Violence. I don't think that that's enough to deal with the underlying anger issues that he's talking about. He needs to be in like a structured program where he can just dive into all that stuff before something else happens, Yeah. So, before I kind of give my decision, I want to lay it out, and then I want to hear from my colleagues and see what you guys think.
I definitely saw some emerging offender change, but I do think that there are still some shaky parts in terms of what I would feel comfortable with and confident that he was coming out with a strong support system in terms of the release plan. And obviously some of the issues that he's acknowledged, which I give him a lot of credit for. It's hard to come to those types of self-revelation when you have a lot of trauma in your life. So I think that there's a lot of good that's happening here, but I do believe that there could be some additional programming that would actually set Mr. Velez up for future success, even more so than the hard work that he's already put in.
Down our chance?
Yeah. So I will certainly agree that I do see some reflection of change in Mr. Velez, but my areas of concern was not addressing anger management, despite the fact that it has played a significant role in his life. And his account of the incident versus what I've read in the PSI and what was in the transcript. I also think, he has a substance abuse score of 4, and I don't think he's adequately addressed that because for some reason he doesn't think that, he has a problem. But in, about 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with cocaine and alcohol abuse. And I do think that needs some addressing. And once he's looked at his anger management, his addiction, and then developed a really solid release plan and how he intends to follow through with that. I just think he needs to have some more time there. So I'm not in favor of his 85% release today. And they still have some more work to do, but to give him credit for, identifying and addressing some problems. And I do know that he has quite a few issues. He just met his mother that he wants to get together to know her. He has a son who now lives with his brother who he needs to be responsible for. He has a daughter who currently lives with an aunt that, he wants to be responsible. And as a man, I see an emerging responsible person.
Yes.
And so I also think he probably needs a parenting program to help him with that, because I see that as very significant for him when he's no longer incarcerated.
So I agree. I'm not prepared to support his, release.
He's not going home.
He does have a special parole to file, so we'll have to set those conditions. Sapo Sasso, how do you feel about all of this? You're in agreement with this?
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at the reasons. I had nature and circumstances, injury and impact to the victim, inadequate institutional program participation for not completing that protection service. Those 3 okay with you?
Yeah.
I mean, we could have probation. There's no reason to at this point, right?
No.
Okay. So then the conditions for special parole. I have no alcohol.
Yeah.
I have halfway house.
Yeah.
And then anger management.
Yes. Yeah.
There were 2 co-defendants.
And then it's 2 co-defendants.
Yeah, Mr. Velez and capital, and then the victim EB.
Yes.
In terms of the one of the co-defendants that is a relative in one of our hearings last week, it said it separated that out because it was a family member and it said without.
So,
Without heels.
so this other one, Les, is his brother?
Yeah, without heels for me.
Okay, so we'll go through that. Okay, just give me a lot of stuff here. That's right. Okay, anything else that we need to cover before?
No
Right?
behavior management.
He's getting denied.
Yep.
The two co-defendants and no contact with the victim.
And yeah, that's what I have. And then we have those three reasons: nature and circumstances, injury and impact,
Right.
and program participation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna
He's not getting out.
make this motion. And he's been approved for halfway house, so this is he has other options here and all those things for him. So I would encourage him to stay positive. Okay, so in regards to Heriberto Velez, inmate number 403153, make a motion to deny discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstances of the current offense, the injury and impact to the victim and the victim's family, inadequate institutional program participation. In addition, I'm going to set the special parole conditions as no alcohol consumption, halfway house placement, community-based behavior treatment for anger management, no contact with the victim EB, no contact with his co-defendant Edwin Velez without the parole officer's permission, and no contact with the co-defendant Christopher Capilupo. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Velez, you understand what happened?
Yes. I got that.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but you still have a little bit more work to do. I would encourage you to take advantage of the little bit of time you have left and try to address some of these issues that you heard us talking about. Okay, you don't have a lot of time left here, so you got your proof for halfway house, and you have less than a year for your release date. So,
In a year, less than a year.
all right, good luck to you.
2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This concludes the hearing for Heriberto.
Next up on the Price is Wrong. Hey, so I know a lot of you guys have doubts that this is real. You guys think this is pre-recorded. The next one's about to start up. As soon as it starts, pay attention to the date that they say. They're going to give today's date. Also, I know you guys were asking for names and whatnot. If you guys want the names, pay attention right now because they're only going to say it at the beginning of the hearing or at the ending of the hearing, all right? This is the state of Connecticut, all right, in the U.S. of A. Hey, and I want to go ahead and thank all of you that are tuning in today. To you have a collect call from. Definitely check us out whenever you guys have a chance. At collect call from on YT, if you will. And also, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. It doesn't cost you a dime, all right? And I'm not asking for any gifts, but I do want that follow. That's what I do want, guys. I would really appreciate that. And also, if you guys could go ahead and share it with the ones you love, with the ones you don't love, so they could get an idea of how things run out here in the U.S. I know there's a lot of people out here from the U.K., from Ireland, from Britain, and places like that. Remember, mind the gap. Mind the gap. All right, up next on You Have a Collect Call From. Let's see. Hey, I love you guys from the
Hi,
UK.
sir, can I have your name, please?
Thomas Beckman.
Ireland.
Okay, you said Thomas?
Thomas.
Okay, give me 1 second, sir.
Okay, Thomas. We got Thomas up in here right now. Let's see what Thomas. Hey, and this account that you're seeing right here, this is a small account. This account, I'm guessing that's why I'm getting a lot of people from Ireland is because I opened it up out of TikTok, but in Ireland, I got a gift gap. I got a gift gap SIM card, and I got a VPN, and we got that. When they had that blackout, I couldn't take it right here in the US. So I was like, I gotta open up a TikTok account with this gift gap SIM card. So that's how I'm on the UK. That's probably why I'm coming up on your feed because I see there's a lot of people from Great Britain and Ireland in the feed. So highly appreciate you
My name
guys.
is Torres. Today is Monday, March 10, 2025. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning, Troy Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Thomas Beck, 299078.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Thomas Beck, number 299078. He is serving a sentence of 15 years execution suspended after 10 years, followed by 5 years probation for possession with intent of a narcotic substance. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of June 3rd, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed. It shows he has completed Tier 4, Second Chance Pell, Alternative to Violence Basic Workshop, and Voices. He is also currently participating in Second Chance Pell with an estimated completion date of May 19, 2025. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Beck, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should grant a parole. You may begin.
Thank you, ma'am. First and foremost, good morning. I want to start off by saying thank you for giving me this opportunity to be in front of you today. I'm well aware that this is a privilege and I'm very grateful. Before I continue on, I really want to apologize to my community and everyone that I've affected because of my poor choices. My path to incarceration is one defined by a series of misguided choices and the pursuit of instant gratification with little regard for the consequences. I found myself selling drugs, a path that seemed easy and offered immediate satisfaction. It allowed me to escape my deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and provide an artificial boost to my self-worth and confidence. I know these choices ultimately led to my incarceration. As I reflect on this significant mistake, I recognize that I failed to address my criminal thinking errors honestly and meaningfully. My incarceration has become a turning point, a moment when I realized that I had to seek guidance and confront my distorted thinking patterns. One of the most significant criminal thinking errors that I failed to address was my tendency to minimize the consequences of my actions. I justified my choices, believing that they were victimless crimes and that I was not causing any real harm. This rationalization allowed me to continue down a dangerous path without fully acknowledging the impact of my action on others and myself. Another area in my thinking was the tendency to blame external factors for my behavior. I pointed fingers at circumstances, society, and others for my actions and choices, rather than taking responsibility. This lack of self-accountability kept me from recognizing the need for change and personal growth. My journey toward rehabilitation is an ongoing process. I recognize that my rehabilitation involves self-awareness, education, and a genuine commitment to want to change. In these last 5 years, I've accomplished so much. I've been enrolled at Nantucket Community College working towards an associate's degree in machine technology. I've completed numerous programs, including Voices, People Empowering People, Alternative to Violence, Tier 4, and I also have gained 200 hours in cosmetology school towards my barber's license. I became a certified recovery coach and also got accepted to participate in the veterans program where I would have been a dog trainer if I didn't get transferred because my level dropped to a 2. I've learned so much about myself and what is expected from me in these last 5 years. Never in a million years did I think I'd be working towards an associate's degree. Now, over 20 credits in, I'm almost there. For once in my life, I'm truly proud of myself, and I can honestly say I could do anything I put my mind to.
Thank you.
For many years, I've subjected myself to negative things. I really thought I could become successful by selling drugs to my community. Selling drugs became an illusion that I believed since I was a teenager. As I mentioned earlier in this letter, I spoke about my programming. One program that had the most impact on me was Tier 4. Not only did I complete the program, I became a mentor for 18 months. Truthfully, I was hesitant to take on that responsibility because a mentor in Tier 4 is automatically the jailhouse snitch. Once I decided to not care about my image anymore and what people thought of me, that's when I knew I was headed down the right path.
Wait, what?
I decided to give back and learn from the counselors and my peers what it was I was doing to myself and my community. I was literally profiting off other people's sicknesses. My selfishness and greed had me destroying my community, my family, and myself. Tier 4 taught me about the opioid crisis that we're being faced with today. People are out there suffering and passing away every second of the day, and that's something I would never partake again. I know I apologized before, but from the bottom of my heart, I'm truly ashamed and sorry for my part in all of this. I took it upon myself to learn more about addiction and recovery, so I signed up and graduated the Recovery Coach Academy. I felt there was no better way to live in prison and not help other people. Since arriving at Carl Robinson, I contacted Council Supervisor Rogers, who got me involved with a recovery coach of my own, who I communicate with every week. We have conversations that I've never had with anyone before. I find it very therapeutic and self-rewarding to let everything out to a stranger who went through what I went through, and to never be judged is an amazing feeling. You're probably wondering what's going to be different this time if I'm granted parole today. Well, to be honest, everything's going to be different. The last time I was released, I had one plan. As you know, I came home March 2020 during COVID after serving 15 years, and my only plan was to work with my stepfather at the garbage company. Once his boss told me he couldn't hire me because of the pandemic, I struggled mentally and emotionally. I didn't know what to do. I found myself talking to old friends and surrounding myself around people who didn't have my best interests at hand. This time around, I have several plans. I have a job as a tower technician apprentice with a positive role model and friend who has changed his own life around. And just in case that plan doesn't go as planned, I can obtain gainful employment as a recovery coach. I will continue my education at Asnuntuck Community College, and I can also continue barber school, where I would need 800 more hours to become a licensed barber. I've been told I'm very good at cutting hair, and that's something I've been doing for the last 20 years, and I love doing it. I know life hits us all with curveballs, and if that happens to me again, I'm fully prepared this time. I've surrounded myself around people who I can reach out to that's going to give me the right advice instead of drugs to sell. I'm choosing to go to the New Haven area if granted for parole for multiple reasons. I need to change my people, places, and things. I feel in order for me to become successful, I have to leave my past life behind and start fresh. I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't scared. But my strength and commitment to make this my last time in prison gives me hope. In conclusion, my incarceration serves as a reminder of the consequences of poor choices influenced by distorted thinking patterns. I'm determined to transform my life, address my criminal thinking errors, and ultimately contribute positively to society. My journey toward rehabilitation is a testament to the power of self-awareness, accountability, and never giving up on myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your statement, sir. So what's going to happen next is that we're going to take turns asking you questions.
Yes, sir.
And then when we're done, we're going to deliberate, and then we'll give you our answer today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to start with my colleague.
Hey, I wrote that.
Zapu Sasu.
Hey, thank you,
Morning, Mr.
Jessica, for
Beck.
coming over. Hey, thank you, guys.
That was a very substantive opening statement, and you gave us a lot of information, many of which were the questions I was going to ask you. So thank you for putting the time and effort into that. I'm just going to use your opening statement and ask you a couple of questions based on what you've already told us. And the first question that I was going to ask you about was that 6-month period from when you were released in 2020 and then you were arrested again. And you did explain that. So I appreciate that response.
Thank you, Avery.
So that happened. You were returned on new charges. And I guess I'm curious from your journey that you've taken. You mentioned your turning point that you realized you had to change. When did that happen? Was it upon that arrest, or was it sometimes when you were back in the facility? Talk to me about that moment of change that you realized you had your turning point moment.
Thank you, Daniel.
To be honest with you, my turning point didn't happen until 2022 when I participated in the Tier 4 program. In the beginning, I was still blaming everybody else for why I was back in prison. I blame my mother, which I always blame my mother because she gave me away when I was younger. And I feel like it's always easy to point my finger at her, which is not right to do.
Did anybody catch what he did?
Who hasn't been in my son's life because
I stepped away.
And I had a conversation with him when I was home, and I didn't like how the conversation went, and it hurt my feelings. It hurt me bad. And for me to keep blaming my mother for the decisions that I made isn't right because she raised 4 other boys who were my brothers, and not one of them are in prison. I'm the only one who's in prison. And they all do good. They all work. They're just good people.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Once I took that program and got involved with the counselors and the council supervisor who ran it, who's now a warden at another prison, I didn't want to do the program. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want no parts of it. That everybody in prison, that's the snitch program. Don't go there, don't do this. She basically made me go to that program. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing today and think that I'm thinking. And also, I lost my best friend from fentanyl, and I just lost my uncle 2 weeks ago from fentanyl.
Thank you.
And another turning point, my grandparents took care of me the last time I was in prison. They won't have a conversation with me because I'm back in prison for selling drugs, for selling a drug that ruined our family. And she just lost her son 2 weeks ago, and I lost my best friend. And my father is struggling with addiction now. And from what I hear, he just put himself into a program for the first time in over 15 years, maybe.
He said he was a
My
snitch.
turning point is more to do with me and my family, because that means the most to me right now, because I'm not getting any younger. I'm 40 years old and I keep doing the same stuff. And I don't want to have I want people at my funeral. I don't want to have a lonely funeral. And I don't talk to my mother right now.
You don't have a lonely funeral.
Because of what's going on. And
thank you for that.
the drive to want to do right and get my family back is my turning point, man.
Thank you. So obviously you dove in and you took a ton of programs. We've talked about Tier 4. You've mentioned some other ones.
The
And
snitch program.
I'm assuming it was a reference to Voices when you talked about you didn't think there were any
Mama
victims
D.
with your crimes when you were selling drugs. Can you talk about the community and the victims a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that, Barbie.
You know, I was so selfish, and I've always been so selfish up until recently that I didn't even realize what I was doing, man. I didn't even, to be honest with you, when I came home, I didn't even know what I was selling because people would give me the drugs. When I came to prison in 2006, there was no such thing as fentanyl. I've never sold fentanyl. I've never touched fentanyl. I've never seen fentanyl. So coming home and not being able to get a job during COVID, I struggled. Going on Facebook was a big trigger for me. Seeing people that I went to school with that had families, cars, houses, careers. And here I am starting at 34 years old because of the decision that I made in my life. I struggled. I wanted those things. I just didn't know how to get those things the right way, which I do now. And coming home during COVID, it was hard for me. I really couldn't get a job. And I started putting myself around people who didn't have my best interests at hand and would give me drugs. And I didn't even know that I was selling fentanyl, man, until somebody told me. And once they told me, like I just told you, I was selfish.
Hey, on YT, I got 3 streams running right now.
I was more worried about my image, and that's all that mattered to me. And I was selling drugs to my family members. It was just all bad. It was just all bad. And that's why none of my family supports me. They love me and they care for me, but they want to see me come home and do good.
It is.
And they're tired of me crying wolf. And I'm 40 years old. I'm the oldest brother, and I need to lead by example. I call my little brothers and I ask them for money, and I should be able to support them and help them and be there for them to go canoeing or going on hikes because that's things that they love to do. And it's been all bad. It's been destroying everybody. My aunt lost her housing because of me. She relapsed and started smoking cocaine. She has nowhere to live. She had the house for over 20 years. She allowed me to parole to her house, and she lost all of that because of me. It's just bad. And being in these programs taught me that there's no such thing as a victimless crime. Every time you do something in life, it always has a reaction, whether it's good or bad. And it's messed up to say this, but I'm just realizing that now. I don't have no excuse of why I didn't learn that before.
Right. So, but this, this is what we like to hear, is that this moment of change and reflection, but also that you're recognizing what has to happen post-incarceration. You've had one minor DR about bunk assignment, so we're not even going to really spend a lot of time talking about that. But I do want to talk to you about your history with community supervision, which you've not done well with that in the past, between the violations and being returned. So let's spend a minute talking about how you envision those 5 years of supervision and what that person's role is going to be in your life.
No, this is not real.
Okay.
And I haven't fully matured yet either.
I'm not
And I'm
gonna
in my
use an
40s.
excuse. A lot of my previous ones when I was 16, 17 were for smoking marijuana, for violating parole supervision and TS. As I got a little older, I started to sell drugs, and I would violate and come back to jail. But it's crazy because I come to jail and I don't get in trouble like that. I follow all the rules. I'm respectful to the staff. I'm respectful to my other peers.
No,
it's
this
just when I come home.
It's not real. It's fake.
The money has always been my driving force. I feel like a man, I used to feel like a man was defined by how much money he has. When in all actuality, it's what's in your heart, you know? And coming home now and to be on parole for 5 years,
Connecticut,
I know I have to surround myself around people that's gonna want me to succeed in life. Like my sponsor. I have a sponsor who's been my sponsor for the last 5 years, who's offered me this job for the last 4 years. And this is one of the reasons why I'm going to the New Haven area, because he's involved with NAAA. He runs the meetings. He does regional meetings, and he's changed his own life, and he's been clean for 6, 7 years. And he's offered me that job. And I feel like by me being under his wing and him showing me how, he just bought a house with his wife. He has 3 kids. He coaches the football. He coaches baseball. His wife coaches the cheerleader for his daughter. I feel like surrounding myself around people and seeing that type of lifestyle instead of seeing negative lifestyle will want me to continue to do better instead of putting myself around somebody that's selling drugs or hanging out on the street corner. I've never really had an opportunity to have a job because I've been incarcerated basically for the last 21 years of my life.
So just to be clear, your sponsor, I had seen mention of CCAR as part of your plan. Is the person who you're going to be employed by, is he also your sponsor?
That's somebody else that I communicate with outside of that.
Okay, so your sponsor is the one that you are using.
I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Through CCAR, that one?
So that sponsor I just met maybe about 3 months ago through Council Supervisor Rogers. I communicate with him every week. But the person who had the job offer for me has been in my life for the last 6 years. And I always looked at him as a role model, you know, so, and he's a recovering addict, and I just basically call him my sponsor because he's involved with the community in New Haven.
Okay. So we did receive several letters of support from your brothers, your girlfriend at the time of the offense. Is she still your girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your mother and stepfather. So obviously your relationship with your mother has been something that you've worked on as well.
Yes, ma'am. They love me. They like I told you, they're just tired of me crying wolf. They want to see action.
Okay.
He was selling rugs.
Thank you for talking to me. I think that you've answered all of my questions, and I'm going to turn it back to the chairman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Panel Member Chan.
Well, hey, welcome over, Kimberly. Highly appreciate you coming over.
Job well done. I like the fact that when you read your statement, that you had a really positive release in there. And you talked about the reasons why you had to surround yourself with new people. You've identified those people. You have an employment offer. You have a support. And I wrote a note to myself.
Connecticut.
And
it's a job interview.
That
we're trying to figure out we're going to hire him or not.
The letter that your mother and stepfather wrote in support of you. Yeah. Okay.
Want me to read it now?
No, I read it.
Oh.
And I'm glad that you did.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think they shared with you something that's probably always been there. But, you know, having an addiction will prevent you from seeing any of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you for all the
things
that you are working on. And I appreciate that you were pretty much very honest today about what your issues were and how you have addressed them. So good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vayas con
All set,
Dios.
Mr. Peter.
Yeah, you can right here.
So,
Look.
Mr. Beck, the only question I had that we didn't speak about yet has to do with your driver's license. You've had like several operating under suspension. You were driving
Thank you
these
for that
last
heart,
arrests
Sid.
around in a car selling drugs. What's the situation with your driver's license right now?
I had a permit, sir.
So you've never had an actual driver's license?
No, sir.
Okay, that's what I needed to just clarify before we move on.
So I think I just have to go home and just apply for
Shit, you're right.
apply
I
for
am.
my permit again and do all that
Yeah,
over.
you'll have to, yeah, and that's something you could use your parole officer for a resource for too. You know what I mean? Make sure it. You know, the other thing is that the last time you did this, you failed because you said your job didn't work out. You know what I mean? That stuff's going to happen. So you need to be able to be prepared to call people. You know, call your parole officer and say, "Listen, my job's not working out. I need help." You know what I mean?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
It's good that you mentioned that.
I don't got permission.
I've always been the type of person I need somebody on my butt to push me to do the right thing. And when I went home during COVID, I never even met a parole officer.
Okay.
I didn't see one. I never met one. I wasn't. It was just.
Yeah, I understand. COVID was different. You're going to meet them now, and if you don't meet them right away, you need to advocate for yourself. You know what I mean? Knowing your concerns and your past history of not doing well, right? You need to have all those supports. That's a person that can help you. They have all kind of resources. They know where to go. They know the kind of places that you. So, you know, you need to stay in touch with them and use them as a resource. And don't think of it as like an adversarial situation. You know what I mean?
Years ago, I would have thought differently. But going to that program and seeing them counselors, how they care for us inmates and how passionate they are for us to change our lives. Yeah. I was in Osborne when we presented the program in front of the parole panel when they came to the jail. Yeah. I was one of the mentors that presented the program. So I know how passionate those people were, and I know back in the day it's probably inmate versus DOC. But as I got older and really
he was selling
see
rugs.
How was the problem? People are here really to help you.
Yeah, they want you to succeed, right? It doesn't reflect well on them. It doesn't reflect well on anyone if you fail. Not us, not them, not you. Right. So we all want you to do positive things, and then you know, that life that you're envisioning, that you're talking about, going kayaking, canoeing with family members, and doing all those things. That's what we want for you. You know,
thank you.
That's what we want.
I want that for myself.
Gino.
All right, so we're done with the questions, and we're going to deliberate now. The only thing I ask is that
damn, this
you
was
listen.
fast.
You just don't interrupt during this time while we're talking.
And they just blew by this guy. What do you guys think they're gonna let him go or not? Should they keep him? He was
Mr. Beck came to today's hearing prepared to illustrate to us offender change, and I think that he did a very good job of illustrating how the programming has contributed to his growth and motivation. He has done a significant number of programs, and through that has come to a point of self-reflection, or as he referred to it, the turning point, where he is now taking accountability and being responsible for his past crimes.
That was a quick one, yeah.
Risk to recidivate. He has had only one minor DR during the course of this past incarceration.
What?
And has actually exceeded expectations in some arenas, including serving as a peer mentor within Tier 4. And prior to his transfer, he had been selected to do the Veterans Dog Training
This is the third
program,
guy, right?
Which we all know is
the first two got denied.
A higher end program. So with that being said, and after listening to him and reviewing the file, I think that Mr. Beck should be granted parole today.
Oh.
The conditions that I have tentatively checked off and will be looking for feedback from my colleagues is there was one co-defendant, Elijah Morning, a halfway house placement, and as
looks like it.
The chairman indicated, no driving without parole officer permission until Mr. Beck can deal with his license issues.
Did somebody say Swiss or Sweets?
So I agree with that. It's Dr. Sasso has said, and I also have the same conditions that he outlined, and I am in favor of granting this.
That is correct. Yeah, that's what that means. Parole means getting out.
Thank you. Yeah, he's done very well, right? This is what we want to see, all the programs and the change in his voice. It sounds really good. Even with his history, being concerned, he's done well.
So one thing I wanted to add to that, he was on special parole for the burglary first and the robbery first and kidnap first. And his special parole doesn't end until September 3rd, right, 2025. So we have to take that into consideration as to what his release date is going to be.
Hey, I love you guys from the
I
UK.
had May 30 on here.
Britain and
For
Ireland.
his discretionary parole release date.
I had June 3rd, so I don't know if the dates.
I had May 30th.
Oh, you mean for his 50%?
Yeah.
UK
Yes.
percent.
Yeah. What
Sussex.
date do you have for his?
50%, May 30th.
Yeah.
Sussex.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just want to make sure.
So we can go with May 30th, and then he'll run discretionary parole and special parole until September 3rd, right? And then he'll stay on discretionary parole until 2029 when he'll switch to probation.
Right.
Is that how this will work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So his, we let him out
Canada. That's right.
May
I love my
30th.
Canadian neighbors.
and then he will stay on
Washington.
special parole till September
Yeah.
when it ends.
And then it'll be on discretionary parole.
Then he'll go on
2029,
discretion.
and then probation after that. Okay. So when we make the motion here, we'll just bring it. I'll say discretionary and special parole for May 30th or after May 30th.
After May 30th.
Yes. Yes, because wait a minute.
No, he's gonna get on May 30th.
So we just want to say that our date today is May 30th, 2025.
Okay.
He still has special parole.
That's running. Okay.
Running.
Yeah, and I just note that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just had 4.
For
Conditions.
I have
3.
I have 3 too. Halfway house, motor vehicle, and then co-defendant.
Oh, I had no alcohol.
I didn't.
I didn't have that because he was marijuana and occasional ecstasy.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
wasn't
have it either.
alcohol.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna move forward with this
What?
motion.
Really?
In regards to Thomas Beck,
State.
inmate number 299078, I make a motion to grant parole on or after his parole eligibility date of May 30th, 2025. The following conditions, in addition to the standard parole conditions: halfway house placement, no operation of a motor vehicle without the parole officer's permission, and no contact with his co-defendant, Elijah Morning. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Not me.
Okay, Mr. Beck, did you hear what happened?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You've been granted. Yeah. So we granted you discretionary parole. You still owe time for a special parole till September. So you're going to have, it's one parole officer, I believe, but it'll be 2 different things going on at the same time. And then in September, when that ends, you'll just be on discretionary parole. Okay, still a lot of supervision. And then after all that, in 2029, you'll switch to probation. So you got to
Great,
stay on
thank
the
you.
straight and narrow. You've had problems in the
Thank you,
past. It's
guys.
led to all of this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, you'll get all of this in writing. Thank you. Good luck.
It's a job interview.
Thank you, ma'am.
He just got the job.
This concludes the hearing for Thomas Beck.
Hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button and let's go ahead and get a collect call, roll call going on. Where you guys coming in from? If you guys don't mind sharing. I'm from Los Angeles, California, from the 213. Let's see. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Andrew. Texas. Damn. Phoenix. Damn, this San Diego. You guys are blowing. UK, Gators. Woo, Australia, Vegas, Kentucky, Britain. Damn, you guys, Ohio. Chat is blowing up. Hey, highly appreciate you guys. Up next, who do we got? What kind of charges do you think this guy got? It should be let out. Brooklyn, New York, Australia, New Orleans, Chicago, Blythe, California. That's right. Texas. Him again? Rugs, the Caribbean. Canada, Ohio, Tennessee, Maine, Texas.
Hello, Mr. Gordon. Can you give us a couple minutes, please?
Gordon, all right.
You.
His last name is Gordon, all right, guys. Amsterdam, Billingham, England. This is cool. Who, I can't say that word on here. He's not getting out. Jersey. I'm gonna be out in Jersey soon, real soon. And hey, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Little heart on the head. Appreciate that. Dallas, Texas. Yeah, this is Connecticut, Alberta, Canada. Let me see. He got a robbery. A robbery charge. Scotland. Let me see right here. Rugs it's live and direct. So watch. So right now, I know you guys are asking me if this is live. When it starts right now, the lady's gonna say the date. All right, and then we'll take it from there. And then we are doing virtual job interviews. We're trying to get him hired at Walmart here as a Walmart greeter. So we're gonna help him through the process. Let's go ahead and get some good questions that I could ask him while we're interviewing him. And he might be the right man for the job, if you will. Let me see. And for those of you that don't like how it looks right here, because it's a projector screen, I am running another stream on YT. The name of the stream is also at CollectCallFrom. I'm running two different streams. I'm running this stream, and I'm also running Dade County. So if you want to jump on over, this will probably be a good time for you to jump over and add CollectCallFrom. And it's also free over there. It's free 99. There we go. Confused. Don't be confused. All right. Did the other guy, the third one, he got paroled. The guy with the beard, the one that was talking about snitching, he got paroled. The first two guys, those guys got denied. They're not going nowhere. Let me see. Mature only. Got a new follow here. Hey, thank you, the UK. Man, I'm glad I opened up this British account up in the UK. Good thing I got that gift gab SIM card. Hey, man, I opened up this account in the UK. Man, I'm my feed from my UK account is different from the US. Man, I'm getting a lot of British stuff popping up. So hey, I really appreciate you guys. Love you guys, and remember, mind the gap when you guys are on the underground, if you will. The US might not know what I'm saying, but you guys, you British folks, know what I'm saying. Mind the gap. I've been out there one time. I was out there in the tube, the underground. Yup. I was out there in Stonehenge, and I hung out there for a few days. I stayed at the Ibis right there, right around the corner from the airport, from what is it, LHR, London Heathrow International Airport. Yup. Let me see. What is YT? YT is where you're at right now.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Robert Slazowskis.
Good morning, George Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo-Sassu.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Elijah Gordon, 394-323.
Gordon.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Elijah Gordon, number 394-323. He is serving a sentence of 10 years execution suspended after 5 years following 3 years of probation for criminal possession of a pistol, possession with intent to sell, assault third, failure to appear second, and the use of a motor vehicle without permission. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of September 19, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender completed tier 4 and DB. And since his last hearing, he is currently in smart recovery, set to complete July 15, 2025.
This is Connecticut.
Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Gordon, this is the opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
First of all, I'm gonna say thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I feel like I should be granted parole because where I'm at right now mentally, I realized I was wrong, and I take full accountability for my action. I've been able to take this time to learn better ways to better myself and new ways to cope with certain situations. I have learned a lot about myself by attending multiple programs like Voices DV, NAAA, also the Tari program that played a major role in changing my mindset and how I want to go about my life and how I think. And I realized that the path I was taking and the choices I was making wasn't the right way. And the outcome was just coming back to jail. So now I understand that by getting a job and staying away from certain people, that's the way that I'm supposed to be and be there for my daughter so I can be out in society and be a better person for my community and my family, and I'm able to help out and do.
Are you guys?
Okay, thank you very much.
Are you guys buying what he's selling?
So this is a read here. So you've done this before. What's going to happen is we're going to take turns asking you questions, and then when we're done, we'll talk and deliberate, and then we'll give you our answer. Okay?
All right.
Hey, what did he do? I didn't catch what he did. Did they say what he did already?
Okay, so Mr. Gordon, I don't know if you remember me. I was on your previous hearing, and we denied you and gave you the read here and asked you to complete the Tier 4 and the domestic violence. In addition to that, I noted that you are currently in smart recovery.
Yes.
So going down the line, if you could give me some feedback on what are some of the things that you learned in Tier 4, and how is that going to help you when you go back in the community?
Well, being in Tier 4, I learned identifying myself, identifying like things that triggered me, and encountering like what I was going wrong and what was setting me off. I learned networking. So like in NA and A meetings, there's speakers. They come in, they give their numbers in my property. That way, when I come home, I can get in contact, continue to attend NAA meeting and be around people that been in my situation, been in my shoes, that can help me on my path to being a better person, building relationships, my behavior and thinking pattern, self-reflecting so I could realize like where I've been going wrong. I learned that my past trauma plays a part in certain things that I do and bettering myself. Self-awareness, my thinking process, knowing my truth, so knowing what to stay away from, knowing what get me upset or make me want to go smoke or drink, so I'll be able to maneuver better ways and better thinking, and different tactics to help me go about things differently.
Well, it does seem everything that you have kind of mentioned. First of all, you were able to identify your triggers. Can you give me an example of what one of those triggers?
Getting into altercation, getting upset. Something not going my way. That could be one of my triggers. Getting upset, like planning for something and not expecting things to go down the way I wanted to, could be one of my triggers.
Okay. And you mentioned networking, and then you followed up by saying you would attend NAA meetings. Okay, so, and then you said building relationships.
Yeah.
So you also said that in the past, the people that you were around were not good. And so now you have to get more positive people
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
in your life. Okay. You also talked about self-reflection and mentioned that you learned that your past trauma played a role in all the things that, all these crimes that you've been committing. And that, so how are you going to address that piece of it in the community?
I'm worried and I'm sure that I can change and help out in the community. One of the things when I go home, I wanna help the youth, like people younger than me that's going through this stuff I done went through, and show them that there's a different way. It don't gotta be the way I grew up. You don't gotta look, you don't gotta dress a certain way, you can just be yourself. You don't gotta follow others to the negative. There's a way to go the positive way and be successful. And don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder for any problems. You can get your money. You don't have to worry about going to jail, things like that.
Okay. And you talk about your thinking process as you were able to identify the effects of drinking and using drugs that played a role.
Yeah.
So tell me about domestic violence.
Domestic violence, I learned, first off, I learned about the definition of DV. Abuse is a pattern, coercive, control directed towards the victim. Abuse is a behavior that physically harms, arouses fear, or prevents a victim from doing what they wish. I learned identifying the abuser, the losses and the cost, the effect of domestic violence on your child. My triggers also, substance abuse and other triggers that plays a role in it, warnings and behavior management. Yeah.
Okay. So, to ask you, so one of your charges was criminal possession of a pistol revolver. Why did you need the gun?
The last time I was here, I said, and this is why, like the area that I was at and the people I was hanging around, there was a lot of problems. So I felt like having a weapon on me, I'll prevent people from like put up an image like, oh, we're gonna stay away from him because he has a weapon. So I thought it would be a good way to prevent problems. And stay away from and in reality, it just caused me more problems. So now I ended up in jail, doing time away from my family, away from my daughter.
So you know that was wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to go and live with your stepfather, and from what I understand is that he has firearms, but that he has a license to keep them. Did you know that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So that's something that your parole officer will have to look into and determine whether your stepfather's residence is appropriate for you.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the things that I read about is that I know you want to go and work with your stepfather doing masonry.
Yes, ma'am.
So even if the parole officer doesn't approve you to go there, you know, we will add a halfway house. So it's not that you won't be able to work with him. The parole officer will just have to determine if it's appropriate for you to live there.
All right.
Okay? So you also put in there that you are going to attend Wheeler Clinic.
Yes.
And I suspect that part of that is participating in some type of counseling.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you also said that you are going to attend NA and AA. Now, tell me what you're doing for smart recovery.
On smart recovery, I learned how to network with people and talk with people
Thank you.
that they're in the same shoes, same situation I am, but some of them are connected. They have job opportunities. They've been through NAAA meeting. I learned that there's other people out there that's been in my shoes before and turned it around and became something better for themselves, family, and the community.
Yeah.
He got his notes in there.
So,
He's doing a good
smart
job.
recovery also has the 12-step program.
Yeah, I can say for you.
Are you working on that?
Yes, that's something we learned that in Tier 4. Smart recovery is kind of like connected with Tier 4.
Right. So have you started working on the 12-step?
Yeah, I've started working on some of it while being there, not even realizing that there's some stuff that I have already started working on before I got in there.
Okay, so what step are you on now?
I say I'm still like in the beginning, still learning certain situations and learning how to cope with certain things.
Okay, so you may not remember, but I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably still in the first, second, and third.
You know, I don't the paper. I must have forgot. I don't know if I had. There's few of them, but I've been working on myself.
Okay, and you've already, accepted that you have a problem with alcohol and substance
He's on
use.
0 step.
So that's one. The next one is what I hear you saying. Figuring out what your urges and triggers are.
Yes, ma'am.
And attending meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, learning how to pick more positive people.
And surrendering myself to be willing to learn and understand that I need help.
I stream it with my computer.
All right.
Microsoft Teams.
So, that's kind of what we were looking at when we asked you to do that. You have not done well on your previous community releases. And so I want to make sure that you do have a really good recovery plan, a relapse prevention plan in place, because you have a very high drug scores. It's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, your 3 previous failed community releases was not, we could not accept that knowing that you had not done Tier 4.
Yes, ma'am.
But I think you went a little beyond what we asked you to do. And I appreciate the fact that you also volunteered to be in smart recovery.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I do hope that for whatever number of time that you have there, that you really get some help to write out your relapse prevention plan. You already have some of those, but putting it down on paper will help you.
I did the recovery. He asked me to do a recovery plan. I wrote it down.
Very good.
I put while I've been incarcerated, I've attended the NAA meeting. There was outside speakers that came in that offered help and numbers. They put the numbers on the cards in my property.
Is that the CCAR people?
No, not CCAR. There's NAA meeting.
Oh, okay.
There
Okay, speakers that come in for the
coming
meeting.
in. They've been about, some of them been there 20, 30 years. They offer to tell us, like when you first come out, it's 90 pro, 90, yeah.
Very good.
So I'm going to call them so I can network with them and be around people that know and been through this multiple years. Also, I signed up for Willard Clinic, and they offer help with many things. And there's people there too that's been through similar situations that can help me with counseling and can help me and guide me through certain situations to better myself.
Very good. Okay. And I know besides your stepfather, who else do you have for support?
I have my sister. She works, she got a business. She no business, but she's always there to help me out. My mother and my grandmother.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for sharing with me today. And I think you did very good based on what we asked you to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kara.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Gordon. I just have a couple questions. My colleagues asked most of the questions that I had, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the gun charge. You said that you were carrying the gun because you felt unsafe and you thought it would, kind of demonstrate to other people that you weren't someone that they wanted to challenge or, try to do anything to you, so you were using it for like protection, right?
Yeah, but not with the intention to use it, just put up that image.
Yes.
For people could think like, oh man, let me stay away from him.
How do you feel about that now? About carrying guns now?
I honestly think that it was the way I was thinking was dumb. Like,
yeah, it really
it was a bad decision.
Yeah, so you're a convicted felon. You can never possess a firearm in any situation. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, so you had a sentence here of 10 years execution suspended, after 5 years, right?
Yes.
What do you think would happen if you got arrested with another handgun? What do you think the sentence will be then?
10 years.
Right, could be more. I mean, they give out, there's gun violence is very serious right now, in the cities in Connecticut. So I'm trying to stress to you, this is an area that there's not going to be any wiggle room. You know what I mean? You get caught for a gun again, you're gonna have a big problem. Okay, so you need to understand the areas that are risky for you when you come out. So if you're around other people, your uncle has guns, and you're going to be around him, you need to be very, very careful, because if you're in the car and you have a gun, you get stopped, you're going to be in violation. There's all kinds of ways. You're going to get a deadly weapon offender registry. It looks like
life's a risk.
So you're going to have to register. They're going to want to check your house, all kinds of things. Okay. So just be very, very cautious about the people that you're around and associate with, especially if they have guns.
All right, sir.
You understand that? It's going to be it's a risky situation for you. You're going to be risking a lot. If you get caught with another gun, it's going to be a long time you're going to come in,
No, I don't even want to be around nobody.
Yeah. You just have to understand those things. So what are the risks for you? You know what I mean? When you go out, knowing like what, you don't do, you know what I mean? So that way you don't get yourself jammed up again.
I understand.
Right? The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about was your driver's license situation. You had a lot of motor vehicle charges. You have operating on suspension a couple different times in your past. You have evading, and then you had using your vehicle without the owner's permission. What's going on with your driver's license right now? What's the status?
I learned this time. I learned that I could go home and reopen up all my motor vehicle cases and clear them. I want to clear them up so I could be able to get my license.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, so right now your license is not valid, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, I just want to make sure you understand that and confirm with you that you know that you're not going to be able to drive. Okay, that's another place where you're going to get yourself in trouble. You've had in the past. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, that's all I have today. So I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, this panel member Zappo Sassy.
So I just have one question for you, Mr. Gordon. I read 4 different police reports preparing for today's hearing. They were all in Hartford Police Department. So your release plan is to go in Hartford, if you're allowed to live with your uncle. How are you going to respond to high-risk situations differently this time than you did before? I mean, a lot of what, the chairman just said to you goes into that. Stay away from drugs, stay away from guns, don't drive without a license. But you're going to see people, you're going to be places. You're going to be in Hartford. Tell me how that's going to be different this time.
Well, working with my stepfather, he works out of town. He barely works in Hartford, so that's one way of me not being in the mix of stuff. And then there's any 8 meetings that I could attend that's in other towns, so I plan on going to other towns so I won't get caught up in that. And if I'm not working or attending the meeting in the house with my daughter or doing something, the community and the surroundings I was in, I don't plan on going back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Gordon. So what's going to happen now is we're going to deliberate. Okay, so we're going to talk about your case. Just going to ask you don't interrupt. You can listen, okay? But just let us finish, and then we're going to let you know our answer.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Gordon, before we begin our deliberation, you had originally asked to be released to a friend's home.
Can you repeat that?
You had originally asked to be released to a friend's home.
Oh, yes.
And she lives in New Britain. She had said it was okay.
Yes.
So did anything change? Because one of the concerns that I have is all the guns that your grandfather, your stepfather has at his house.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine, but another friend of mine, which is a boyfriend, he was incarcerated and he's gonna be TSing over there.
Got it.
Can't go.
Okay. All right. So your stepfather lives in Hartford?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
Boyfriend.
you'd have to, if they don't, then I have else. Okay, thank you.
Whose boyfriend?
All right,
What did I
sir, we're
miss?
going to do our deliberation, okay? You can listen, but like I said, don't interrupt, okay? Okay, panel member Chance.
How is this
So
allowed?
this is a rehear for Mr.
How he
Gordon.
allowed to do this? He's not
You know,
allowed.
previously we had done
The UK represent.
the criminal section of history, but I asked
Is
him
this
again
live?
today because
Oh, yeah,
I
it
wanted
is.
to refresh his memory.
His
So
friend's
I asked him
boyfriend. What
as
the
to
what?
why. And then when I read the changing of stepfather, I, got a little bit
Nobody says
concerned,
boyfriend.
but I know,
No, hell nah.
Flo will have to take care of that. So he completed the domestic violence, and he was able to give a reflection of what DV means. I sense that once he does the other piece in the community, he will have a much better understanding. Tier 4, he seemed to have gotten a lot out of in
You guys crack
terms
me up
of
with the Harvey.
being able to,
jokes.
identify his triggers, and one of his triggers to using was getting upset or getting into altercation with someone else. But more importantly, he was able to develop a networking through the meetings that he was attending, and actually has a sponsor. And so he, through that sponsor who will help him to build on positive relationships, which I think he has not been able to experience. He also said that past trauma played a role in some of his offenses. He wants to give back to the youth in the community to let them know that as a youth, some of the things he went through and how they can avoid it. So I thought that was good. And also, he said his thinking process was pretty much screwed up, but he was able to learn that drinking and using drugs sort of models his thought process. And so now that he has been able to, it's been a little bit clearer for him. And then, the Smart Recovery, which is a volunteer program, which he's also doing and reconnecting with what he's learned in Tier 4, and talked about his relapse prevention plan, which is doing that 99 meetings and connecting with his sponsors. And
I think they are.
doing the 12-step. So I think Mr. Gordon has done pretty much what we're asking to do, and he hasn't gotten any DRs.
That's for my local time. It's
I would be willing to grant.
It's 8:23 or 8:53.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not allowed. I'm just gangstering it.
Well.
Okay, so let's look at
I'm just a rule
let's look at the
breaker.
conditions of release. Does anyone know if
I have halfway house, no driving, behavior management.
Are you gonna
for
report me?
BD.
okay, I have that. And then I do have a victim listed here, JR, but does he have a child with this person?
Hey, love you too.
I saw that the victim
It's
with the
3 a.m.
domestic
in
violence, I have a
OZ.
note that it's the mother of the child.
Yes,
So that would
but the victim is listed as Jane Doe.
3:54. What?
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah, that's because you're
I
across.
don't
You
know
guys
why I
are
haven't
living
been-
in the future.
Well, you mean JR?
yeah,
Okay,
I don't know.
so we could,
Without the parole officer's permission
yeah,
for JR, is that okay?
yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Hi from Wales. Hey, thank you, Shelly. Welcome. Hey, I love you guys from the UK, man.
So we'll
You
have
guys are
those
deep
three
in here.
conditions: halfway house,
You guys
motor
are deep.
vehicle, domestic violence, and then the fourth thing will be
No driving.
no driving and no contact with. I'm sorry,
Australia.
I don't think I had alcohol, right?
New Zealand. Hello from the UK.
I didn't have it.
I didn't.
Okay.
I just had the no contact with the victim, halfway house, DV, and no driving.
Okay.
UK here. That's right.
Okay, is there anything else you guys need to go over?
No.
South London.
Okay, I'm gonna make this motion. Okay, in regards to
UK.
Elijah Gordon, inmate number 394323, make the following motion to grant discretionary parole
Oh, they're gonna
on
let
or
me know.
after
Can you
March
watch
10th,
this on YouTube? Yeah.
2025, with the following conditions in addition to standard parole conditions:
If you go here,
halfway house placement,
I stream them
no
every
operation
day.
of a motor vehicle without the parole officer's permission, community-based behavior treatment for domestic violence, and no contact with the victim JR without the parole officer's
This is
permission.
live, yes.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, Mr. Gordon, did you hear all that?
Yes, sir.
All right, good job. We granted you parole today, okay? Make sure you
Thank
follow those conditions and follow through on your plan, okay?
All right, one question.
Yeah.
You said halfway house?
Yeah, so you'll have to work that out with the parole officer. That's you're gonna be on a deadly weapon offender registry. Your uncle has a bunch of guns registered to him. That's all gonna have to get sorted out somewhere else. We're not gonna be able to sort that out today.
All right, then. Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Next. Hey, so this is live, and this is a border parole hearing in the state of Connecticut. I'm not from Connecticut. I'm from Los Angeles, California, from the 213. But yeah, some states do allow, or some states do allow public access to these hearings. And we got the next person up. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. It's gonna definitely help me get to that 10,000. And that's what I'm trying to reach right now. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers. It's free 99. Don't be a Mr. Krabby Patty. Don't be a Scrooge McDuck. Don't be a Codo. Don't be a tight wad, if you will. And I love you guys from the UK, Scotland, Britain, New Zealand, Australia. Man, I love all of you guys. Shoot it. Let me see. Let me
Don't forget,
Sir, what's your name?
Monte Adams.
Monte
Okay, thank you.
Adams.
Give me 1 second.
All right, Monte Adams is coming. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Jamie. Highly appreciate Canada too. Hey, I love you guys too. Our brothers from up north. Appreciate you guys. Hey, from London, Northern Ireland here. That's right. Let me see.
Good morning. My name is Pro Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
My name is George
Thank you, Georgia.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Please state your name and inmate number for the
Mind the
record.
gap. That's right. Mind
Monte
the gap.
Adams, 399-364.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Monte Adams, number 399-364. He is serving a sentence of 5 years flat for sale of narcotic substance. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of February 1st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed tier 2 invoices. He's also participating in Smart Recovery with the estimated completion date of March 13, 2025. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Adams, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Would I be able to read my letter?
I hope
Yes,
so.
sir. Go ahead.
Preferably.
To the members of this board, my name is Monte Adams, and I would like to seize my opportunity before this board to demonstrate the effort I have applied towards changing my thinking and tangible steps I have taken to modify my behavior towards a pro-social set of goals so that I may re-enter society as a positive force who only contributes to the community and take care of my family. During the past 18 months of my incarceration, I have had to sit with myself and my choices, which have beyond a shadow of doubt put me where I am today, in front of this parole board, holding myself to account. During these months of incarceration, the tangible steps I have taken are to successfully complete the Voices program. The program reinforced my ability to make better choices and to identify the poor behaviors I engaged in despite a working knowledge of consequences. I learned to take accountability and not to shift the focus. I am engaging in self and national self-analysis and to always think my situations through to achieve my desired result. I also completed the Tier 2 program, which helped me identify the continuity from addiction to abuse to enablement, all stemming from substance use, which result in antisocial environments. I no longer engage in self-pity, entitlement, and I am working on identifying my thinking errors. I am by no means all the way there, though. I have certainly taken strides, if not leaps, and bounds towards positive life change in pro-social behaviors. I have conditioned myself to a healthy schedule in here regarding my psychic, physicality, and my job. However menial it may be, and I look forward to carrying that habit into the world.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I have 3 daughters, and I am aware that the best indicator of future behavior is past and present behavior. I am looking to break the cycle of criminality with that thought in mind and my daughters in my heart. Because of my incarceration, my daughters have lacked a father figure. Their mother without financial stability, social embarrassment of having an incarcerated father. If I am granted an opportunity to seize control of my life in a pro-social way, I intend to utilize my second chances to the fullest. So it is with a sense of humility and attitude of gratitude that I come before you today to ask you to be granted a chance to take a new path towards a better life. I sincerely thank you all for your consideration and look towards moving forward in positivity. Thank you. Sincerely,
Hey, some of you guys, man, you guys check me out.
You did a good job. Thank you for providing that statement.
Thank you.
What's going to happen today is that we're going to take turns asking you questions.
Hey,
And
thank you for the
then when
follow.
we're done, we're going to deliberate, and then we're going to give you our answer. Okay?
All right.
We're doing job
I'm going to
interviews.
start with the questions today.
Okay.
So I read through your file, and I listened to your statement. I appreciate it. Sounds like you're heading in the right direction. You gained some things from those programs, so that's good to hear. Can you tell us, why were you selling drugs? What was going on?
You know, like, I'm not even going, I'm just going to be completely, like, honest. Like,
Go ahead. Yeah. So
I wasn't thinking, it wasn't smart of me. I really didn't have, like, nothing going for myself. Like, I had no money, no job. Like, I was just trying to support my family the best way, like, I could.
Okay. So have you ever tried to get a job?
Hell
Yes.
no.
All right. And you couldn't get one, or what was going on?
At the time, I couldn't. It was like, it was hard.
Okay. So, I mean, it's still going to be hard, you know what I mean? When you get out, it's going to be hard to get a job. Do you have your GED yet?
No, I don't.
So that's something that you should probably put on your long-term goal, you know what I mean?
The last guy did.
Because that will help you. It's a foundation so that you can apply for jobs.
Connecticut.
You know, so you have to change your mindset, because it's hard to get jobs sometimes, and you're in your situation when you get out, right?
It ain't hard. You could
Can't
get a
resort
job.
back to this though, because you're just going to end up back in here. That cycle you're talking about, you have to break. You have to break it, and it's not going to be easy. Okay.
Yes.
I heard you talking about tier 2 and some of the things you learned. Was there anything you learned in there about selling drugs that you think could help you, you know, when you get out?
I learned that selling drugs could lead up to incarceration like this.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Is this the first time you've done over a year? Yeah. You had other?
No.
You've had other incarcerations, right?
Yeah, in like 2013.
Yeah, I see that. So, you know, the sentences, they just keep getting longer. You know that, right? They
Yes.
had to come back. They look at what you did before, and then they say, all right, that wasn't enough, and now we're going to go more, you know?
Yes.
What about voices? Did you learn about the impact that drugs has on the community? They talk about that?
Yes.
What do you think happens? What do you think happens to the people's families that are using drugs? People that are buying drugs from you, what happens to their families?
Their families be without like an individual. They could pass away from drugs.
Welcome, QP.
They
You ever hear? But
Their life is like shattered.
yeah, their life is shattered. You hear about people stealing?
Yes. They
People
still
that
from their family.
Yeah, causes a lot of problems, right?
Yes.
Hey, thank you for the follow. Highly
You
appreciate
had a
that.
disciplinary report for fighting back in October 2023. You remember that?
Yes.
You just walk us through it and tell us what happened.
I came back from work, and an individual that I was inside the dorm with, he was like provoking me, like inviting me to his private part area, and we ended up fighting.
What?
Did you ever have problems with him before?
No.
What was it about? I mean, I didn't hear you say what was he provoking? What was he upset about?
It was over like a card game.
Over a card game.
Yes.
It's
What do you
always
think you
about
could have done
card games.
differently to handle that differently so that you didn't end up with a disciplinary report? Those things hurt you for programs, and for us, you know, it's a big problem.
I could have walked away. I could have avoided it.
Yeah, probably would have been a better idea, right?
Yes.
Just let it go. Maybe he would have calmed down. You could have talked to him later about it, you know?
Yes.
Have you thought about getting your GED or high school diploma? Is that something you've been thinking about?
If I was granted a chance of parole, I was going to go out and sign up. Because before I came in, I signed up for adult ed.
Okay.
But I didn't have a chance to get into there because I was about to get come back to jail.
Do you know where you have to go to do that? Where you're going to live at? Do you know where that place is at, or the phone number? Do you have
Yeah,
an
he
idea?
is.
Yeah, Washington Street, Adult Ed, Hartford.
Okay. So you're aware there's no reason why you can't go there, right? Does it cost money for you to do that?
No.
No, right? There's no reason not to do that. So you need to put that on your list of things when you get out, you know?
Right.
Wait, private parts.
So let's
Excuse me?
talk more about your release
Come
plan
again?
and what you're going to do when you get out. Where do you want to live and work?
I wanted to go to a halfway house so I could be financially help with, far as finding a job and so on and so on.
All right. Do you have any kind of idea what kind of work you might want to do?
I'd like to do warehouse work. Before I turned myself in, I was working 2 jobs.
Okay, good. Well, so that's a realistic job for you, you know? We talk to people all the time, and they're able to get jobs in warehouses, you know?
Right.
It's hard work, but you can have a steady job and get paid, you know?
Right.
I thought he couldn't get a job.
So that's a realistic goal for you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you've done that kind of work before. You're okay doing that?
Yeah, I drove a pallet jack.
You did? Okay, good. Yeah, so those are all skills that people are looking for. There's a lot of warehouses.
I can't believe you guys are private
up and
parts.
down 84, you know what I mean? So what kind of support do you have in the community with your family or friends?
I have my kids, I have my mom, I have my kids' mom. My dad has.
Are you still in a relationship with her, or are you co-parenting? How's that going?
This is Connecticut.
Okay. Can you talk to your mother on the phone now?
Yeah, I talk to my mother every day.
Okay. So that's someone you could call, right? If you're struggling, something goes wrong?
Yes.
Okay. What's the situation with your driver's license?
From
I
Australia.
don't have a driver's license.
Driver license.
Have you ever had a driver's license or a permit or anything?
No.
Damn.
You know that's an area that you're going to get yourself in trouble, right?
Hey,
If
Lindsay,
you drive.
thank you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to figure out how to get back and forth from work. It's going to be a little bit trickier.
I'm very familiar with the bus lines.
Okay, good.
If you want to watch on full
to
screen,
be driving, right?
Right.
you got to go here.
All right. So the last thing I just want to talk about is that you've had 7 failed community releases in the past.
Right.
You've never successfully completed parole, probation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a concerning area for me when I'm reading through all of your information. Why is it going to be different this time?
I mean, this time I really have to get myself together, or I'm going to lose out on my family, and that's something I really don't want to do. Like my mom, she tells me every day that this is my last shot to get it together, or me and her, we basically are done.
Hey, if you guys could
Your mother sounds like she has good advice, so I would rely on her, for support. And I mean, you don't want her not to be in your life anymore, right?
Right.
So people are going to, at some point, right? Friends and family, people are going to stop giving you chances. People in the criminal justice system, they're going to stop and say it's enough. Because this is number 8 for us right now today, and you haven't been able to do it. You're 30 years old now, right?
I just want a chance to show my family that this time I got it right.
Can't make any more mistakes. There can't be no more.
No more excuses.
Really
he should be doing it for
30 years
himself.
old. You said you have children. You're an adult now. All this has got to come to an end. All this other stuff. Okay.
He has to focus on himself first.
That's all I have for you. I'm going to see what my colleagues wanted to ask you. Okay.
All right.
Hey, if you guys could repost the stream, highly appreciate it. And if you guys could follow,
any
I
questions?
really appreciate that
I think
too.
the chairman addressed most of them. It's just an observation, Mr. Brooks, Mr. Adams, that you've spent most of your time under community supervision as an adult. And so, I would hope that at this point,
hey, Sarah, thank you for
that
reposting.
you see a reason for change.
LBC, thank you for.
With a criminal history such as yours, I'm just looking for some type of acknowledgement that, you realize that you have to make changes and that you're still going to have triggers that you might have in the community and that you're going to need to deal with them effectively if you want to stay out in the community for your daughters, for yourself, for your mother. All of those are great motivations, but you have to do it for yourself first.
Right.
What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to let him out? Yes. No, you don't know.
You have 3 children.
Hey, Kathy Sue. How's it going?
I can't.
You have 3 children, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
From survive to thrive.
And how many mothers?
How many who?
Mothers.
Mothers?
Yeah.
2.
Okay. Did they know that you were selling drugs?
Do they know that I was selling drugs?
Yes.
Man,
No.
she sounds like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
No.
Now, if you weren't working, and I know one of them, your court ordered to provide financial support. So where did they think you were getting the money?
Honestly, I don't know.
Thank you, JR.
I wasn't being completely honest with them.
So you said that you have a perfect
Thank you.
relationship in co-parenting. Can you describe what perfect means to you?
Like we don't argue.
Thank you.
Like we don't argue. She brings my daughter up here to see me.
Thank you.
She's wonderful. She's very wonderful.
And that's
Thank you.
for one of your daughters.
Yes.
How about the other 2?
The other 2? It's like they want to be here, but then again, they don't want to be here because of the situations I don't put them through.
So have you figured out why your drug scores are poor?
Oh, hell nah.
I know when I came in to Hartford County, I told them that I used to do drugs, and they put my drug score at a 4.
He's in for sales. For sales.
What kind of drugs did you tell them you use?
I used to do PCP.
PCP, damn. This is live. This
I
is
used
happening
to
right now,
sniff.
real time.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
Okay. So do you think you have any kind of issues with drugs or alcohol?
No, I don't.
It's supposed to be private, but I'm putting it out.
No.
Why is it that you couldn't get a job?
I was like too caught up into the streets, honestly.
Because I can.
Yeah. I have to tell you today, Mr. Adams, having been given 7 previous failed
With my
community
computer.
releases, and I look at the dates, why do you think you have a flat sentence today?
Huh?
Excuse
Why
me?
do you think you have a flat sentence today?
I think I have a flat sentence because I couldn't get it together. I couldn't cope with the community. I failed my family.
So, you know, your very first sentence that you got for the robbery, they gave you 7 years special parole.
Yes.
Well, you never completed that because, you know, you would abscond, you would come back, they would put you out, you would come back with new charges. And they kept doing that over and over between 2014 and 2019. And then what happened? In 2020, you're still selling drugs. And so now they give you probation.
Probation.
While your special parole is still running. And then what do? You violated both of them. You violated probation and special parole. Okay. And you've done that throughout the history, and I don't understand why you're age 30 now. So say in the last 4 or 5 years, you were age 25. Your brains was fully developed. I don't know what the difference between those dates and now are. I really don't. I do appreciate the fact that you took the smart recovery. I didn't hear what the benefits you gained from smart recovery or what you worked on there.
Smart recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Smart recovery is just it's like a tier 2 course. We talk amongst each other, and the day is over with.
And so, what did you get out of it?
I got that I shouldn't be out there selling drugs. I shouldn't be out there selling drugs. There was no reason for me to be out there selling drugs. Drugs it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I'm really, really, having a difficult time with that because I think you have known before that you shouldn't be selling your drug.
Did I miss anything?
And you chose to do that. You chose to keep violating your special parole so many times that I'm just having difficulty believing today that this time is going to be different for you.
It's going to be different.
Oh,
I have to make it different. I have a daughter that's depending on me to get out there to help her.
Mr. Adams, you have 3 children.
Yes.
You should all be supporting all 3 of them, not just one because she came to visit you.
I have 3 children that's depending on me to get out there to help them.
But they've always been there, correct?
Yeah.
How old are they?
One is 7, one is 2, and one is 12.
So I'm sure that the 7 and 12-year-old, you had them when you were still selling and doing drugs. So the point I'm trying to say to you is that you have to find another means of supporting yourself and your children.
Right.
And you've been there. They have vocational program. I didn't see you taking any of the vocations program that would probably give you a better chance to, get a vocational training and obtain a certificate that would,
Right now, I'm in another program. I'm in the fatherhood program, the fatherhood initiative.
Well, you need it.
Yes.
You certainly need it. So I'm glad that you're in it. But you did have the vocation and educational programs on here, and you just never chose to participate in those 2. And those are the 2 areas that would truly help you going forward. You talk about not being able to get a job. I don't know how much you're looking for a job, but there are many other people like yourself in the community who find jobs because they know they need to, be of support to their children.
Right.
And so I don't know what efforts you have put into that.
I had 2 jobs before I turned myself in. Before I turned myself in, I was working at BJ's Warehouse, and I was working at Tree Wise Guys in New Britain.
Why weren't you able to keep those jobs?
Because I had to turn myself in for incarceration.
And why did you have to turn yourself in?
Because I chose to make some bad choices.
To do what? It's obvious if you say you had the jobs, you were still selling.
Right.
All right, well, I have no further questions, but I wish you the best of luck, and I truly hope that you will really think about the consequences of stop selling drugs. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so good luck.
Vayas con Dios.
Okay, Mr. Adams, you still want to go to your girlfriend's house in Bristol? Is that correct?
No, I wanted to go to a halfway house.
Halfway house? Okay, I think we're done with all the questions. We're going to deliberate, okay? You can listen, just please don't interrupt, and then we'll give you our answer.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Adams, 30
This is
years
the
old.
states. It's the
Had
state.
trouble in the
It's
past
Connecticut.
with parole and probation. It's here for one count of sale of narcotics. It's a small.
And if you haven't done so, please do so.
He has
This
a,
is live.
5-year
Hit the
sentence with
follow
no
button,
supervision to
please.
follow.
Follow. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you a
So
dime.
he's taken some programs, and he was able to articulate some of the things that he learned in some of the programs.
And also, if you can
Voices in
share,
tier 2.
we got over 1,000 people in here. Let's make it
He's in
2,000.
Smart Recovery Program. He says that he's working on the fatherhood program. Says he wants to work on his GED when he gets out. And, drugs have been a problem for him. He's got 3 children, and he said it's his motivation. He wants to change his life and do things differently. So, I'd like to hear from my colleagues on how you all feel about this.
I mean, the community release history is not good, but he was working in the community.
Mm-hmm.
It was represented in something that I read that I know BJ's said he could reapply, and I think the other place said that they had work for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But to Ms. Chance's point, he had jobs before and still resorted to selling drugs. That being said, I have seen a mindset change where he does acknowledge that he was failing the community and his family. I think he needs to be very honest about the role that he's played and understand that, especially now with a flat sentence and with the history, that anything that comes down the pike for him, as minor as it might be, is going to result in a significant amount of time back in a facility. And I know that he struggled with some of his articulation, but I do think that he does understand that part in terms of the risks that he has.
Yeah, he's got a lot to lose.
He does.
The sentence is going to be much longer the next time. He's just going to run out of chances,
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, a flat sentence in effect says we have no confidence in you, basically.
Well, that's because he went all of his special parole probation, right? And for me, concerning me, he had the jobs, but he was still selling drugs. And then sit here and say he couldn't find a job.
I think he does have some community support, and I did like to hear that his mother appears to have a no-nonsense opinion about this, which I think will be helpful.
Do you guys think they're going to let him go or not? What do you guys think? Should he go or should he stay?
I guess we'll just start getting to this. Considering all this stuff, I would be in favor of granting him some discretionary parole for that. Is that excessive?
I mean, again, I'll use the same phrase. This is a tough love situation. The only person that is going to lose out here is him. If he doesn't actually put to action the words that he's told us today. And there's nothing that we or any other panel are going to be able to do for him if you end up in that seat again. It's all on you.
So are you in favor of granting parole?
Yes, because I think, 8 times, the 8th time hopefully is the charm.
I hope so. Councilmember Chance.
I am going to deny that day.
Okay.
Because of concerning, I read all the activities surrounding all those 7 failures, including both special parole and probation. And, one of the jobs that he said he had was getting paid under the table, and it didn't matter to him because he was selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, if you're going to come here and say, then you need to be honest. And the reason why he has drugs for is because he told them he used cocaine.
Mm-hmm. I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a no for me.
Okay. All right.
We're on the minority.
That's fine. And I'll make a note of that. So for the conditions, I have halfway house and then no operation of a motor vehicle without the PO's permission. Do we have anything else to add to this?
Those are the only 2 I had.
Did you want to add anything to the conditions? Remember Chance?
No.
Yeah. I had halfway house and no operation of a motor vehicle.
Right.
Okay.
It was standard.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion.
And DW.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
Oh man, who's gonna break the tie?
But
Is
it's
he
not
gonna go
conditional
home,
anyway, so
No.
or is he gonna get denied?
I
That's
think
the
it has been
question.
passed. So in regards to Monte Adams, inmate number 399364, I'll make a motion to grant discretionary parole.
Oh,
As of March 10th, 2025. The following conditions in addition to standard parole conditions: halfway house placement and no operation of a motor vehicle without the PO's permission. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Mr. Adams, did you hear all that?
Yes.
You've been granted parole by majority decision. Okay?
All
Be
right.
very cautious. You're not going to keep getting chances. You understand?
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Monte Adams.
all right. So we got another one coming up right now. This is live, and this is in the state of Connecticut. Where's everybody tuning in from? Let's go ahead and get a collect call, roll call going on. Rep your city, your area code, your country, your city, whatever you want to throw it up. Damn, hold on, I can't see nothing. It's going bananas. Hey, thank you, Maria. Highly appreciated. Damn, you guys are out of control. Kansas, New Jersey, Michigan, Tampa, Florida, Utah.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. What's your
London,
name?
UK.
Robert Montes. Good morning.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second.
Give him 1 second. Hold up. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. We're trying to get up to 10K, so we could go ahead and be part of the creative program, if you will. So any bit that you guys could help out, if you guys could hit that follow button, I highly appreciate that.
Good afternoon. My name is Parole Officer Torres. Today is Monday, March 10th,
Thank you, Sierra.
2025.
Thank you,
And this is
Living.
a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and
Thank you,
Paroles.
sweetie.
The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
I love the
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good
morning,
afternoon,
sir.
Board Chance.
And I'm Ellen Zappo Sasser.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Robert Montes, 407-531.
Robert. All right.
This is a hearing being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Robert Montes, number 407-531. He's serving a sentence of 10 years that's previously suspended at 4 years, followed by 5 years of probation for criminal possession of a pistol or revolver, illegal discharge of a firearm, illegal operation of a motor vehicle without an ignition device, violation of probation, illegal operation of motor vehicle under influence of drugs or alcohol. As of today, record reflect a parole eligibility date of March 21st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed DUI, Tier 4, and recovery coach. Utilizing the statewide collaborative effectiveness evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the very high range of risk for recidivism. Mr. Montes, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I'm going to begin by expressing my gratitude for the time and opportunity to hold myself accountable. Having possession of drugs and a firearm, knowing that I shouldn't have, realizing the severity of my actions and the effect on my community was very foolish of me. On the other hand, during my stay here at Carl Robinson, I spent most of it on self-development. Through this process, I've taken action and result of positive change in my values, morals, behaviors, most of all in my decision-making, by focusing and working within my cognitive structure. While participating in structured programs, I was able to identify my flaws and poor behaviors. I developed a desire to learn more about addiction and criminal behaviors to improve my own responses and behavioral patterns to result in positive outcomes. And also develop faith in my higher power, and one is God. With the organizations and taking full advantage of the programs provided by DOC, I feel confident and certain that I have made great changes.
It's Connecticut.
Also, I've opened new doors with a support network and with my family in regards to being honest, open-minded, and willing to make positive change, as well as being a son, a brother, and a father. This time away from my family, who have always been there for me and who I previously ignored, helped me realize that I do have a strong support, and I will utilize them when needed. I've learned the importance in my role in my family, and I also have the desire to become a positive member in my community. I have learned a lot here within my stay at DOC. I feel that I am ready, prepared, and backed up with support in order for me to maintain a successful release. Upon release, I plan on attending weekly church services. I will attend NA meetings starting on my first day out. I will find a sponsor. I will pursue my career as a recovery coach professional, and I plan on starting a nonprofit to support individuals reintegrating and navigate them into a healthy lifestyle. Ultimately, I can't wait to begin this new journey and to accomplish many healthy goals. Goals that's already set. A structured recovery group, becoming a C-card professional, starting a nonprofit for those in need, continuing positive self-development, a successful parole and pardons in 5 years. I also want to take a moment to show my appreciation to DOC, Addiction Services staff, and you, the Board of Pardons and Parole. I understand the purpose you all have, and y'all are here to help me and make sure I maintain a positive impact to society. Thank you.
Should they let him go or not?
Montes, good job
What do
on
you
that
guys think?
statement. Thank you. So what's going to happen today is we're going to take turns asking you questions. And then when we're done, we'll deliberate and then we'll give you our answer, okay?
Okay.
Ready? And I think we're going to start with my colleague, Councilmember Sessa.
Good afternoon, Mr. Montes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So I will say your opening statement showed a very different person than the one that we read about. You know, drugs, guns, avoiding the police, high-speed chases, evasion. You know, all of those are not conducive to a good community. And that's not the kind of community any of us want to live in. And you contributed to that level of risk of public safety. So now that you've told us, you know, what you've been working on in terms of your self-development, I've seen the significant number of programs that you've taken, ranging from, you know, very risk relevant ones like DUI because of those arrests, your drug addiction programs, and then even CLIC, and that you're working on your GED.
Thank you.
Out of all of these programs, including your recovery programs and the coaching classes you've taken, which one was the one that made you have that, you know, moment of self-discovery?
Thank you, Ashley.
Well, all of them definitely made a significant, well, helped me believe in myself.
Thank
that
you.
I can become a better version of myself. Ultimately was the Tier 4 program, the therapeutic community, you know, the time that I've gotten to, the quiet time, the therapeutic time to actually sit and read books, read self-development books, podcasts. I've written down, I got 2 composition books that I've written down notes and, you know, affirmations and stuff like that. But ultimately was a Tier 4, you know, also becoming an elder and being viewed as a leader. And in prison was definitely something different, you know. But yeah, the Tier 4 really was the one that helped me.
And in your role as an elder, tell me about some of the work that you've done, either for yourself or with others, about that role.
Well, it helped me to hold myself accountable, and also my communication skills with others. You know, being in this environment and speaking to a brother and letting them, you know, holding them accountable for their actions.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The integrity in the group, in the program is definitely has developed me, and you know, doing the right thing when, you know, nobody's looking. And I've learned, you know, making the best decision will ultimately benefit me in the long run. You know, making healthy beneficial choices.
So you were very young when you had your first involvement with the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
So looking back now, how do you think about that, the choices that you've made over the last 15 plus years?
Well, you know, I can't blame anyone else, but, you know, from how I was raised, you know, I was raised with mom and dad came around when he wanted to. You know, they did the best they can with what they had. And, you know, I looking back, I've done I have a paperwork, a letter that I wrote to myself. And, you know, I look at it like I was arrogant, but also too, I wasn't aware of, you know, living life on life's terms. And that, you know, but looking back again, it's definitely an experience and a learning experience to where now I know not to make these mistakes again.
So you must have thought about what led you to make these decisions, because I see in everything that I read, there's these good decisions, you know, like going to Lincoln Tech and getting those certificates, but then there's the bad decisions. You know, it was hard to hold a job because of some of your addiction issues. What led you down the path? I mean, have you gone back to think about, okay, if I hadn't done this and if I had done this instead, have you had that level of thought process in terms of how you started to offend?
Yes. Ultimately, it was the addiction. You know, I started smoking weed in high school, drinking with friends, and it's gotten, you know, the progression of the addiction just slowly got me into this realm to where, you know, I've gotten incarcerated the first time and then got the DUI. And, not actually knowing how to cope with certain situations and knowing how to ask for help, and, I realize that now. Like, now I know there's abundance of resources. Like, I believe today, like, there's no way I can ever go back down that spiral with the resources in front of me.
So you referenced your first incarceration for the DUI, then you had a second one, and this is your third one. So did the programs and your thinking not really change that much in the first and the second incarcerations?
Well, the first and second, I didn't have these programs, the Tier 4, the CONNECTICUT program, Smart Recovery, and ultimately, that's where I began to believe like I needed help when I first attended AA meeting here. And then, I just didn't have, I wasn't even aware of the programs available to me in those incarcerations. Ultimately, I really do, I appreciate the programs that I've gone today because I definitely believe I'm a better person than when I was 2 years ago.
You had referenced in one of the reports that your addiction caused you to be homeless at one point, caused you to be incarcerated, and that it impacted the relationship that you had with your sons. How is the relationship with your sons today?
Today, quite frankly, my sons, they're doing therapy and stuff now because they're going to challenge me not being around. But for me, causing that, choosing the addiction rather than spending time with my kids, that's what really played a part into how they feel today and being here in jail. The addiction really did, maybe, make the wrong decisions. Not only my sons, but my family at all. I remember 50 times my mom telling me, stop doing what I'm doing and stuff, and I was just, when I was going to go through one ear and out the other,
So, moving forward and talking about your eventual release from the facility, in the past, you had 6 opportunities under supervision, and you were only successful 2 of those times. So, you're now looking at 5 years of probation. How are you going to view that probation officer differently than how you did in the past?
Well, my last probation parole officer, he was actually great, and I had my ego away. I think he was offering me help with career paths and stuff, and with funding, and I had this vision that I can go get my CDLs and start my own business and all this other, and I was shot down with the DOT physical. And I didn't know how to cope with that, and knowing, not to quit on myself, and rather I did quit on myself. But now I do realize that, parole and therapy and, having a sponsor, coach recovery, like these are all resources that, and enhanced reach that I can use.
So you would envision that person is going to be a central part moving forward?
Right, that's my support, right.
Okay. You did have a disciplinary ticket about a year ago for fighting. Can you tell us what happened there?
Well, that was, I was in there with my cousin. My cousin got into a fight, trying to break it up, and then, I ended up getting hit, so I ended up defending myself. But that was also a moment in that, realizing, like, I've made many bad decisions, and that was ultimately my last bad decision.
Yeah, it has to be about you. Your cousin needs to fend for himself, right?
Right. Because
Okay.
he's home now and I'm not.
So moving on, in terms of your career path for your release plan, you've talked about your recovery supports. You've talked about what you need to do for yourself. The job piece is important as well. So you said you had an opportunity with CCAR. You also referenced warehouse opportunities, and then you have the mechanics piece to fall back on as well. Have you done anything to firm those up, and is one emerging as the most likely path?
Yes, I got the mechanic at Milford Motors in South Windsor. He's waiting for me. You know, he definitely needs the help, and he's waiting for me to get out. But ultimately, the C card thing has gotten my attention, and I know I can fit, 2 jobs. And this is why I choose to go to the halfway house, because I know I'll have that structure and the supervision to where I would have to work and ultimately build my foundation.
Do you have a coach yet?
Yes, Eric. His name is Eric.
Did you have him within the facility, or is this for preparation for release?
Within the facility.
And is he going to follow you outside as your coach?
Yes. And I definitely want to pursue that. I have to, I finished my C-Card professional next week. This Friday will be my second to last, and next Friday will be my last. And then I'm also going to redo the program, redo the academy certification out in the world, just to, get the other side.
And how far along are you with your GED?
I've been there for about, I want to say 2 months.
I have it up
3 months.
so you guys can hear me chew.
I've been doing really well with that. I also that's another thing I plan on, if I don't get to finish it here, at least get the test done outside and, just like I've been learning the things I've learned in high school is coming all back, the math. I'm working on my essay right now, but, I feel like I'm ready to go out and actually, my test scores have actually been high enough too, to where I could just go out and to get the test done outside if that's it.
Okay, so my last question is, you've identified, your relapse prevention plan, the supports that you need. You have a sponsor. You have the Milford Motors offer of employment. You want to work with CCAR. That's a lot going on. So you're going to be busy, which I think is a good thing. But in Hartford, are you able to still think about what those potential high-risk situations might be that you might find yourself in, the triggers that might tempt you maybe a little bit to go back and, the easy money as opposed to lawful employment? I mean, I don't know what the situation is with your brother or the other people that you might have come around with. What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. I just ultimately know not to put myself in any position to where I will be triggered or, it's going to cause me to relapse, but today I have a desire to just work and know and spend time with my sons ultimately, rather than hanging out and wasting time. I'd rather be working on my downtime, go on a bike ride or go toss a football with my sons. Now that they're turning 13, and I've gotten to a point in my head where it's like I'm 32 years old and getting older. There's no time to be playing games as a little kid anymore.
Are your sons both in this general area?
Yes.
Right. And then I did see I guess it would have been an emerging business plan for Vigor for your nonprofit, which, definitely is something that I think when you think about what you've taken from the community, giving back is always a good thing. My only caution to you is make sure everything else is in place, because we don't want you getting into a position where you've bitten off more than you can chew. You have to continue to work on your recovery and make sure that all of that is in place before all this other stuff can come into play. Don't get overwhelmed.
All right, thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Chance.